Welcome to another episode of the Bastard Sermon. This is one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker,
Patrick Seta,
and Luke Young.
And this week we've got on local Cincinnati comedian and lead singer of Flesh Mother, John HAYS. Give it up, boys.
Whoa. With the applause and the clapping hands, it felt like there was more people applauding than just three.
We try to make it sound like there's a whole live studio
It
audience.
sounded like 6 people clapping.
Yeah.
We're just fucking pumped for you to be here. Right before you came, right before we started, you were talking about this story about you having to kill a chicken.
Yeah. I used to live with this lady, and she was like an urban farmer of some sort, and she had like all these different animals, but she was pretty new to it, and she had one of the chickens got hurt, and we had to kill the chicken. She was gonna break its neck, I guess, and because
Brutal.
This is a really crazy way to start this podcast. Yeah.
Go right into how you murdered a chicken one time.
Let me start off with murder. But the thing is, you have to kill them when they get hurt like that, I guess. And so she had never done it, and I was like, well, I'll just cut its head off with an axe or something.
Oh my god.
And she was like, well, I want to taxidermy it, so we have to break its neck. I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not my preferred thing to do for my Tuesday afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Like what? She was gonna hold it out flat, and you were just
Karate
gonna
chop
fucking
it?
kung fu chop
I was
this
gonna
thing.
I was gonna take like a sharp thing and cut his head off because they're little. It wasn't like a big. They're not. Their necks aren't like solid. They don't wear armor. So
right.
you could just the chicken. She was like, I'll do it. I'm gonna be a farmer. I'm gonna do this. And she grabbed it and she kind of like him hauled around with his head for a second. And I was like, all right, I'll tell you what. You hold the body. I'll grab his head and I'll do the fucked up part. And am I allowed to cuss on this?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. So I was like, I'll do like the fucked up part and yank its head off. It's like, okay. I was like, but you got to hold tight, all right? It's like, yeah. I got it. And she's like freaking out and she's holding the body and I grabbed its head and when I went to snatch its head, she let go. And so I just threw this hurt chicken across the yard with its head all fucked up.
Oh my god.
Flopping around while I walking. And I panicked because I was like, oh no, I just hurt a hurt thing. And I crushed its head with a shovel.
Dude, that's brutal as fuck.
So, yeah, dude.
God, that's brutal as fuck.
Not much of a farmer. I don't like it. Not my thing, man.
Did she still taxidermy it with the fucking 2D head? So you look at it from the side, the shit looks like normal, but then you go from the front. Like, what the fuck?
You look over, the other side's all fucked up. No, I don't think so. I don't know. I kind of was disgusted because I don't eat meat. I don't believe in animal cruelty at all. I was just kind of put the shovel down. I was like, okay, this is I've had enough. This is I'm gonna go inside now. Try not to look myself in the eyes in the mirror,
It started with the best of intentions, and then it just progressively got worse trying to solve the issue.
That's like the grim reality of farming is you have to do shit like that sometimes, life sometimes is pretty gross.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't, and not to mention her farm was in the middle of Northside. It was like Hamilton Avenue.
What?
Oh wow.
Well, that's a lot of urban farms. There's urban farms over in
Yeah.
Camp Washington.
Yeah,
There was one by our oldest studio, actually. Right down in the prison. Yeah, they're all over the place.
It's wild, She had goats and stuff. Put them in the house.
I had some friends that goats
Maybe
live in the house, but they were just like meth heads that used to work at the circus. They were like carnies that fucking
Is this around Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was
Sounds awesome.
it was in Coleraine. It was do you remember Colton? So his older brother or whatever the fuck that died recently, he fucking, I don't know what he was on, but something, and he had this big dude named Lurch. It was like this big 6'8" fucking dude that claimed he was a carny and that he would smoke meth on ride trains across the fucking city and shit. Wound up in Cincinnati or whatever, trying to get back to Oregon. He had some long fucking convoluted story that I wasn't paying attention to. Meanwhile, there's goats in the kitchen.
They always have that story. They're on their way to New Orleans or Oregon or some bullshit.
And they got trapped here.
Yeah, sure, bud.
But it was weird because they were living in this fucking suburban cul-de-sac, whatever. It wasn't at all a place for a fucking goat. And they just I guess they saw a Craigslist ad for goats, and they were like, that'd be pretty dope to have goats in the house. And we were like 15 hanging out with these 30-year-old dudes or whatever because they would smoke weed and buy beer for us. So it was like, I'll deal with these maniacs. I don't care. Fuck them. I'll stab them if shit gets wily. And then fucking we're hanging out in their kitchen drinking beers, and all of a sudden a goat just bursts on in, and I'm like, holy fuck! I know I smoked a little, but I don't think I smoked enough weed that goats should be walking in the fucking house. I'm hallucinating goats right now. He's like, no, we picked up some goats off Craigslist, dude. And he's telling me the whole fucking story.
Surprised. After hearing his story and all that, and then a goat walks in, you had to be like, of course.
I should have verified everything he told you.
Like,
it all makes sense.
Like,
now.
of course, that's a goat.
I'm just thinking in my
Like,
head.
Where's the others? You know, there's got to be some more weird animals around this house.
Yeah, the oven's on now.
Brought them from the train. You know,
Yeah.
You didn't find anything on Craigslist. Fuck, he probably met Lurch on a Craigslist ad.
100% he did. I don't even know how they were friends. Like, they seemed to not like each other intensely.
He met Lurch on the train.
Dude, have you ever seen that? There's that documentary where the guy just like travels around the world or America just like off Craigslist.
No.
Like
No, what's that about?
It's called like Craigslist Joe or some shit. And this guy just travels around like getting like free things on Craigslist. And you can look it up. Yeah, it's like this guy. Yeah, it's called, yeah. He just gets on Craigslist and asks for like rides or anything and travels all over off of like free things on Craigslist. But it's kind of funny to me because I'm like, I wish he would have got like kind of freaky with it. Like got like back pages and shit. Like,
Oh, dude, have you ever seen
casual encounters or
like
something?
drugs and stuff, you know? I mean, I guess, I don't know. It was
The
like
dark
it was a
Craigslist.
little too good. It was a little too feel good for me.
Was it real or was it just
I
a
don't
fictional
know.
story? Was
No,
it like
I mean,
a real
I bet it's real.
documentary?
It
I
was
bet it's
set
real.
up like a documentary. You know, it seemed like a documentary, but it was also just kind of like, everybody's nice and polite. It's like, yeah, right, dude. You're going to make all these people to start traveling on Craigslist and get hurt.
100%.
People aren't that
So
nice,
many creepy
dude.
people out
Yeah,
there. Why?
dude.
Who's out there giving free rides on Craigslist? Oh, hey, anybody want to ride with me?
It would just
for
be
12
another
hours?
Into the
I mean,
Wild story.
Yeah, and it's like a thing where, like, dude, like, I like, you know, traveling as much as the next guy, but the last thing I want is some fucking random person sitting next to me. You know what I mean? Like, imagine we do this 2 hours. We just all met each other. We do 2 hours together. Imagine we're stuck in a car and we're having to keep talking for like 8 hours.
And
After
what
a
the hell
while,
do you
you're
even
like,
talk about after like 30 minutes with
like after a
someone you
while,
don't
you're
know?
like, yo, shut the fuck up, dude.
We just did this for 2
Had
hours
enough, dude.
straight.
Yeah,
Like, we
dude.
just sit here and stare at our phones.
Yeah, we get it. You're the band. Shut up.
Speaking of these type of documentaries, though, have you ever seen Thumbs Up with David Cho? So there's this artist, David Cho. He like made millions of dollars gambling, like doing blackjack gambling, and then he like goes out and paints the Facebook fucking studios or whatever before Facebook was anything more than just a college social media website. And Mark Zuckerberg gave him like 60 grand, either cash or stock, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'll take the stock." And the stock turned into like $1 billion. So he became like
Nice.
the biggest paid artist, whatever the fuck, for his art in the United States in recent history that's still living. And he just does weird, crazy shit. He used to have this Vice show called Thumbs Up. He did like 4 seasons of it where it was all about just hitchhiking across the United States. So it's thumbs up because he's got his thumb up the entire time.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make it from one part of the United States to another. The first, I can't remember which season it was, but it starts off there in Mexico, in like fucking Tijuana. And they're like, we just bought some. It's like him and his cousin Harry, and he goes to this fucking Mexican drugstore. We could buy everything. You buy fucking Xanax and OxyContin right on the no prescription right off the shelves. And they're like, we just got some Mexican steroids. Let's shoot this shit up and see how far we can run to the border before we get tackled by border patrol and shit.
I'm not
was
sure.
like-
Is that how steroids work?
I have
Oh
no.
my
Not to
God.
my knowledge.
What?
Well, they've got a video of him doing it. I probably should have pre-queued this before I came out with it.
Yeah, you fucking dummy.
That sounds fucking cool though.
I guess.
No,
would.
not
I've been
what
down
they're
to
doing, but
I've been to the Mexican
watching.
border a couple times, but I'm a little bit too afraid.
To try some risky shit like that.
Well, usually if it's on tour and I have money on me, I don't want to like risk losing the thing that can get me home.
Yeah.
I don't have Facebook stock to fall back on, you know, if I make an error in my judgment.
This dude was just a weirdo. He didn't give a fuck. Like if all of his money, like he would tell his story about fucking like losing all of his money. Like he would have millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank. He'd go to some like fucking Hong Kong crazy big ass like the casino, spend all of it. They would give him like $5 million in credit, not knowing that he'd already lost all of his money in these fucking casinos, and then make it back somehow. And he was like, "You'll never understand that type of rush, losing all your money at casino and winning
I'm a
it
little
all back in the
skeptical of
same
those
night."
stories, though. I'm always like, like that seems so crazy.
I mean,
Like
Yeah, that
I
part
don't
sounds
know.
a little fishy.
It just, I mean, that just seems like, you know, you made just like, I don't know. To me, I'm always skeptical of somebody that made a good business decision, but also is an addict. I don't know.
Well, I
he
mean,
only
there's-
made shitty business decisions and somehow keeps working out for him. Like he's like a fucking weird graffiti artist.
Some people
dude.
just have that kind of luck, you know? Like, there's
Yeah.
people out there that have won multi-million-dollar lotteries more than once, which is fucking crazy, but totally happened.
Then what tries with his pizza.
Dude, it's
Try
good as
it.
fuck. Marmalade 4 cheese pizza.
Delicious.
It's a little cold, probably, but
It probably would have been better if I ate it when it was cooked. That's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah,
Never thought jelly would be good on a pizza.
Good. I'd have tried it. I used to go to this Quiznos, and the lady would make me a breakfast pizza, then off the menu, which meant she just was putting shit on there, so I would buy it. And she would put jelly on pizza, and it was good.
What?
That's weird.
Like actual jelly?
Dude, she would put like breakfast ingredients on like a regular ass cheese pizza. It was weird.
Dude, that sounds good as fuck, to be honest.
There was like bacon and shit on it. This was back when I ate meat. This was a long time ago. I lived in Clifton. I would go to the Quiznos by Thai Express. If I went there when this one lady was working, she was like, "Oh, I'll make you a breakfast pizza," and I would just order what I was like, "Sure, whatever." It was like a breakfast pizza. I don't know what the fuck. It was good.
You know, they say peanut butter is also really good on pizza, surprisingly, and I'm so skeptical on that, but I swear to God, if jelly is good,
give me a scoop, bro. I'll put it on this stuff, dude. We'll have some jelly, peanut butter.
You want me to get some peanut butter for real? You want to try it?
If you got it,
I'm gonna get it right now because that excites me. Food stuff excites me on the show.
While he's doing
this pizza's already pretty gross, you know. So
yeah,
why not? You know?
Can't fuck it up much harder than
why not?
There's already jelly on it.
Yeah, who cares?
But how did you stop eating meat? What was that about? When did you like?
When you start noticing like factory farming and how cruel that actually is, that they're living animals trapped in cages their whole life, you know. It's brutal. It has nothing to do with health. It's just like these animals don't deserve that, and I just couldn't. I would eat like when I would eat like chicken wings. I would go to Hooters and eat like 40 chicken wings. I'm like, damn, that's 20 animals' legs. And I just rip their meat from the bone like a weirdo.
And probably more because like it's probably coming from.
Oh, I mean, they're all steroided out and big legged, and it's just like it's terrible. It's actually terrible to animals and kind of a symptom of our society. These people, these living things, they're treated like a product.
How long ago was it when you started like paying attention to this shit and actually giving a fuck about it?
Years ago. It took me a second to quit. And then I quit for a while, and then I went and started eating meat again, and then I quit again. It's been probably a year and a half now, 2 years, or maybe more.
Did your body feel fucked up at all?
Nah, man. Oh, he got it.
This man came into the room with the fattest smile on his face.
They always say that. They always say that when... Dude, why is that wet, dude?
Yeah, why is...
Nah, bro.
That is some soupy-ass peanut butter.
What is that?
Why is that soupy?
It's all natural. It's just a creamy.
All natural.
I've never had all natural peanut. That scared me for real at first.
Regular.
Is it like getting like thicker now that you're stirring?
I just opened.
Pat, you have to talk into the mic. Professional podcast host or Pat?
This is brand new butter. It's just creamy, dude.
It's watery.
I've never seen watery ass peanut butter
Look
like
at it.
this.
It's
Look
dripping.
at that goop.
It's fine.
This man just met us today, and you're gonna like give him questionable peanut butter and cold marmalade pizza and shit like that.
Not bad, bro. No, honest with him.
I hope this isn't expired. I mean, I just opened it.
Who the fuck says that after you just
I'm
get
already
somebody?
a bite in, man.
Fun. Let me check.
It's too fucking late now.
Look at his hand.
Look at it just dripping down his hands like he fucking wiped his ass incorrectly.
Dude, it looks like shit for real, too, actually. It looks like somebody doo-dooed on this.
It does look bad.
Dude, if you prank me and I get, like, fucked up from eating this, I'll be so
Guess
bummed.
what? It expires January 26, 2020.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
I've never seen.
19 now, right?
Yes.
All right.
I've never seen peanut butter that looks like wet diarrhea
I've
before.
never seen wet peanut butter.
But when this podcast ends and I'm mysteriously sick, where's the camera at? These dudes got me, and that tall guy with the tattoos.
Fucked you
I'm
up.
pressing charges.
Documentary.
Yeah,
Well, if
let
Pat-
it be known.
If Pat did it, well, let's single Pat out here. Pat did it.
Pat
That's
did
not
it.
how the law works. Conspiracy. You're all involved.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Truth.
Patrick, if you get our fucking guest sick with peanut butter,
I got charged that one time. Conspiracy. It was a felony. Conspiracy.
Oh,
can you talk about this?
Wanton endangerment. When
What'd
I was
you
a
do?
Kid. It was a dumb story. My friend had told me he could jump over a car. A car could drive at him, and he would Superman jump in the air, and the car would drive under him as he went over it.
And instead he broke his neck.
Oh, he got fucking slammed because he was like, in order for this to work, you gotta be going fast. He's like, go 60. And we found some
No.
lunatic kid from our high school with a friend in his car. And like, all right, we're filming it. He drove by the first time, he didn't jump. He's like, slow down, maybe 55. He goes by again, doesn't jump. He's like, actually, let's try like 35 and see how that works. And then he came by. It looked to me about the same exact speed as the other two tries. And he just got smacked by this car and did like a bunch of flips, broke his leg.
Oh, my God.
And the cops came, and because we were filming everything, they had said that we were all, and we'd all discussed it. It was a conspiracy. So even though I didn't drive the car and I was 15 years old, I wasn't allowed to drive. I was still as guilty as the guy that drove the car. The crazy part was,
you convicted of this?
Oh yeah, the judge gave us an alternative sentencing because it was like became like high press. Like the news got a hold of it and said we were copying that show Jackass and all this stuff. And so once the news got hold of it, became a big deal. Then the judge made this like alternate sentencing. And we had to do like book reports, which ended up being great because I got into Kurt Vonnegut. But he made us do all these like weird alt sentencing, and he took my license. But because I was the youngest, I was 15. I had to wait till I was 16, then wait a year. The kid that was driving turned 18 2 months later, and then all of a sudden he's back driving around. I'm still riding the school bus. My senior year of high school because I can't have a license.
That's fucking crazy. You got charged with conspiracy to commit grievous bodily injury?
Wanton endangerment is the charge.
Good God.
And that's a felony when you're 15?
Yeah, it's like a felony because that's like basically it's like you could have killed someone but you didn't. Like if you shoot a gun in the air in a crowd, it's
right?
Like wanted. I think that's what
that you got
like,
charged with when you were just fresh into high school and whatnot.
Yeah. I was a young idiot. I thought he would get. I didn't think he would make it, but I didn't think he would get like destroyed because you're a kid. I was dumb, man. I didn't know. Fuck. I was like, what's the worst that could happen? It was like death could have happened.
A car hits this guy going 60.
Yeah, dude.
That's the worst that could happen.
The crazy part was when the cops came, the dude driving, he comes back and he's got this like terrible car, and he gets out. He's like, fuck, and he punches the window, shatters the window, and just cuts the hell. So when the cops show up, there's a dude laying on the grass with a broken leg and like blood. He cut his stomach up on the windshield.
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, oh, my leg's all fucked up. And then there's the other guy with blood pouring out of his hand with like a T-shirt wrapped around it. We tried to hide the cameras. They busted us. Like, what happened? Like, he was just crossing the road. Like, no. They hit him directly in the middle. Like,
How fast did the boys pull up after the incident?
Well, I don't know.
Because I would have tossed camera as soon as
you got hit. Here's the thing.
That's good footage. You don't want to lose that, Luke.
Yeah.
Well, one guy, we did. I put my camera in the house. And it's weird because in that circumstance, you don't. Because we were young, I never imagined it would turn out like that.
You were in shock of the whole situation.
Yeah, like I didn't know. From seeing your buddy get destroyed by a car.
Yeah.
Then your other guys are freaking out, beating their car up, and then the cops are coming, and you're filming it, and all of a sudden they're there. It's like, oh shit, like so you're. Then they start asking you questions. You're trying to lie because that's what you do, but you're also kind of like, we didn't plan to have a story. Like we didn't have an alibi. Like in case this goes wrong, here's what we'll do. We had none of that. Like, there was no preparation for if things go wrong. It was just like all of a sudden it was wrong.
Dude, we did so much fucking dumb shit as kids. Or I don't want to speak for you two, but I did so much fucking dumb shit as a kid that I could have just went to jail for it anytime. Wasn't even fucking thinking about. Same as that, and would just start lying as soon as I got caught. Like, I'll get out of it. I'll just start lying. Every time it would fall to pieces. Like, I remember one time we were like 14 or something, and just 21-year-old kid that would buy weed for us or whatever and pinch our sack and then fucking like give us some. We buy a 10 sack. He gives us a 3 sack or whatever because he already smoked half of it on the way over there. And that's why he was hanging out with us or whatever, because we'd go fucking steal DVDs from our parents, sell it, go buy weed, and then fucking he would bring us like little fucking stems and seeds, whatever was left over. And then he ended up fucking us over, and we were like, well, fuck this dude. Let's just go break into his house and steal a skateboard. We're 14, like not even considering like this is a breaking and entering. My friends talked me out of that. No, dude, let's not commit a breaking and entering. Instead, let's brick his windows out of his house. So I'm like, all right, I do want to break into his house and steal a skateboard, but you know what? I'll settle for bricking his windows out. We brick his windows out, take off down the street. The dude was in the house because we knocked first, like all 14 years old. Like, hey, man, you better fucking answer. Like, I want my goddamn money. And it was like, he's not answering,
so you
man.
knocked on the door, let him know it was you, then threw a brick through his window.
It was the worst fucking
yourself right
worst
away.
plan of all time ever. Threw the brick through the window, and then fucking it was like me and me and my friend at the time, Brandon, we chucked the bricks at the same time, bust the kitchen window out. We take off running into the fucking woods.
Oh, yeah, you can't drive, so you're on foot?
Yeah, dude. And the worst part was the place we were hanging out. Like, this dude's house was on the same street as as Josh's house, where we were, like, kicking it at. It was 5 houses down or whatever the fuck.
Wow.
So we committed this crime on Josh's street, and then, like, went to go circle around behind the woods behind the house and come back through the woods and, like, up like nothing ever happened or whatever the fuck. On our way to the woods, running from behind fucking Chuck's house, whose window we just bricked out, our friend Joe fucking comes out of nowhere, and he's all out of breath and scared looking and shit, and he was just like, oh, dude, Chuck's looking for you guys. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, he's got 2 bricks in his hand, and he said if he finds Josh and Dan, he's going to fucking kill them, because he thought that it was Josh and Dan. Meanwhile, it was me and Brandon. And then fucking we were like, well, fuck that, dude. Let's go through the woods. Get up to the house. By this time,
you should have went right back and be like, hey, man, I know where Josh and Dan are at, man. Let's go get them, dude. Fuck that.
Josh and Dan were with us.
2 birds, 2 bricks, or whatever. 2 birds, 1 stone. 2 birds, 1 brick, man.
Yeah. No, Josh and Dan were with us, but they were trying to talk us out of it the whole time and shit because they were responsible.
Man. They should have just thrown the brick. Now they're going to get attacked.
Yeah, we go back up to the fucking thing, and we get to the parents' house. By this point, Chuck and his fucking dad are already at the house, telling him we bricked the windows out. Chuck's ready to swing. His dad's holding him back and shit. And then we were like, we didn't do it. And Josh's parents are fools, so immediately they were like, well, they said they didn't do it, and I believe them. And they're like, we're calling the police. My mom gets fucking called. She shows up like fucking NCIS and shit, puts us all in different separate rooms and shit. We're all telling different stories because we don't have our shit together, and it all falls apart immediately. Like, because she gets there and fucking Josh's parents are like, yeah, they said they didn't do it. My mom was like, they fucking did it. They're liars. They're 14. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my face.
Well, they always do that when they put you aside, too. They always go, your friends over there telling us what happened.
Yeah.
You're like, this motherfucker told on me.
We start ratting on him and shit. Telling him shit.
That's what they do. They try to get you to tell on your friends and stuff. You know, they did when I shit happened with the car, I had to do like news interviews, and I didn't want to do any because I just wasn't really like I don't know, it wasn't my thing. I didn't really want to. I was afraid. You know, I thought I was in big trouble. They charged me with a felony.
Why would you want that to be known to everyone?
It felt bad for the dude
anyways.
too.
My dude's in the hospital. His parents are pissed at me. You know, so I'm like a little bit afraid. And they would do things like they would get a friend of mine to do the interview with me and say, hey, your friend Eric will do the interview with you, and then you can do it together. I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, okay, if he's doing it, I'll do it. But then they just edit him out entirely, so I look like the asshole. You know, I'm doing an interview on it. I'm trying to explain to my friend, I'm like, that's not even my house. That's Eric's house. Why would he? Why? You know, but they do that kind of shit, man.
Well, instead of the police doing that, it was my fucking mom doing that type of shit. And
even worse.
But she saved our asses because they were going to press charges. And my mom got down there like in the nick of time, like, hold on a minute. They did it. They admitted that they did it. We'll pay for the windows. Like, whatever it takes to not put my boy in jail or whatever the fuck. And then it ended up working out. But it was only because interventions like that would happen like every time that I was about to get fucking in serious trouble for some bullshit. I lucked the fuck out, and then once I turned 18, I was like, oh, God.
You've been lucking the fuck out your entire life, guy.
All kinds of stupid shit. But, yeah.
Dude, that's the fuck of it all, and then just lucking out.
100%. All right, we've been bullshitting about just random topics for a while. I want to get into, like, you specifically. So
all right.
You're the guest. We might as well get into your life a little bit. What do you want to touch on first, man? Comedy, or you want to get into the music shit?
What's up to y'all?
What happened first? Were you a comedian first?
No,
and then you fell into
I got into comedy through music. I used to play solo all the time, just like singer-songwriter stuff. And back in the day, my set was like, I would just crack jokes and make fun of people a lot during the show. And I got booked on a comedy show. It was supposed to be comedy and music, but it was strictly comedy with me doing music in the middle. It was weird.
What kind of awkward shit is that?
It was super weird. And all the comedians weren't very funny. But my friend Jay Armstrong was on it. He is funny.
He's great. We've had him on twise.
Yeah, Jay did it, and I knew Jay from shows. And so I asked him, I was like, yo, how do you do like comedy? Like where's a comedy thing? Like I had no concept of like open mics or any of that shit. And so Jay Armstrong got me into it.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Like the Thompson House, and put me up, got me like a cool slot and everything. What are you drinking? Is that
Some
a beer?
shitty Budweiser.
Oh, I thought it was a Coke and it came out a different color. Yellow. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, just piss tasting Budweiser.
Everything here's expired.
Dude, I'm gonna leave now. So I was doing music before then, and then got into comedy afterwards.
What type of shit were you doing at that point musically? Like, was it just you by yourself?
Yeah,
with
just playing acoustic guitar and singing. I was in like a thrash band called Take It to the Streets.
Right on.
Fucking ridiculous. Like just some crazy like
some
goofy,
thrash party metal shit.
Just some goofy, like straight edge thrash stuff that I don't know. We probably would have been a pretty good band if we like took it more like to heart. You know what I mean? Instead of like never practicing and just being idiots.
Just wanted to play.
Yeah, and I was in a band with a couple of dudes that were kind of lunatics. They beat up people and shit, you know. So.
Was it like some straight edge crew shit?
No, it wasn't. I mean, kind of. I mean, it's all kind of hand in hand. You know what I mean? So, but it was just like, I mean, the hardcore scene's like that, man. People are wild. They just get crazy. And if you're not a part of it and you go to the show acting like an idiot, you might get fucking dealt.
Yeah, when I was playing music, they would always come to shows and they would pick fights with people and stuff. But then sometimes they'd be really friendly. So it's always a hit or miss with like a specific crowd. It's always
because most of the time the stories of them picking the fight is told by the person that got beat up. So they're always going to tell their side of the story of them as like a victim. Like, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just drunk and pushed this girl around for no reason.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're so goddamn unprofessional.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So they always had these like weird stories. Like, they leave that part out. Like, I was just doing nothing. And these straight guys beat me up because I was drunk. It's like, no, you were wasted and like accosting people and being a problem. And you just got, rather than tell the bouncer to make you leave, this couple dudes just kind of roughed you out, man.
Did you hear about that? I think it was the Venue 42. I don't know if you guys remember that venue or not, but there was a venue around here called the Venue 42, I believe. And there was a bunch of people that came in. I think it was like two rival like gangs or groupings of people, and they came in and they were like stabbing each other and beating each other with baseball bats. And the venue got closed down. It was pretty crazy.
God.
But I mean,
an actual battle happened in this place.
It was crazy to hear about. I wasn't there specifically, so I can't say what happened. But I remember hearing about that story too, and that was pretty wild. I was just curious if you ever heard about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it's a big thing happening around here.
I mean, stuff like that, just it's weird. I don't back with. I don't like get down like that. It's not my thing. But definitely, like, that's where I started music at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was hanging around those shows and like playing those shows because those were that was the music I was into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then going and getting into like comedy was like a totally different world. It was awesome.
That's gotta be such a weird like change of events from fucking hanging out with dudes that are beating the fuck out of each other and fucking doing these wild shows and everyone's screaming and yelling and fucking trying to get all their adrenaline rushes from doing all this crazy shit instead of drugs and alcohol and shit like that, and then fucking stand-up comedy where you're the only one up there. No one's jumping around acting insane. It
was so terrifying.
You got to captivate a room by yourself.
The first time doing comedies, it was so scary. And I've done a lot of shit. I've done MMA for a while.
That's
like,
cool.
All these different things that are like scared the hell out of you. I rode a bull at rodeo, like all this goofy shit. The stand-up comedy was so horrifying because the first time I did it, I had to go up after this dude named Joe Shelby, who, I don't know if y'all know Joe. Joe's hilarious. He lives, I think, in New York or L.A. now. And he goes up before me and destroys. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this guy's funny. I'm not funny. Like, I've just never even done this before. I don't even have jokes, really. And Jay was like, trust me, this is good. Like, you can follow him. Everyone's already laughing. They're going to be having a good time. Like, this is good. And going up, and then everyone's just, like, absolutely silent, waiting for you to talk, just staring at. It's fucking scary, man. And but
how do you feel like you did that first time that you got up there?
I did good, which was bad. I think it would almost be worse because I did good, and I did good a bunch of times in a row immediately, and so I got like kind of cocky. So the first time that I bombed, it was like the Funny Bone, some like contest. It was like sold out. And I just ate shit, and I was not ready for it.
Did you get up there with that cocky ass confidence though? I'm gonna fucking destroy, dude.
I thought I was gonna be like, I was like, wait till you all check out my jokes. Like I was like, thought I was gonna just crush it, and just went on stage, and they were just like,
no one was laughing.
No.
Eating a plate of dicks in front of a sold out crowd.
Oh, it was brutal. I mean, they were like chuckling, but not what I thought they were about to, like, couldn't breathe laughing. I would get applause breaks. You know, I had all these like pauses for it, and it just.
You planned out applause breaks?
Oh,
like you
yeah.
wrote it into your material and shit like that?
Well, you kind of like, you pace yourself to where there's like pauses for laughter.
Yeah.
You
don't
know,
because
like,
you don't want to like talk over like parts where they're laughing and stuff.
You kind of have an idea of when there'll be like a big laugh, when there's punchlines. So when you deliver your punchline and you wait for the laugh and nothing's there and you're just standing there and it's silent and you're like, no one thinks this is funny. Like, this sucks. Like, everyone in this room collectively right now thinks you're an asshole.
Does that ruin your pacing?
It still.
Oh, it just ruins all your... dude, it's a brutal blow to your ego. Like, any ego you have, any kind of, like, self-worth you feel about yourself, gone. Because you know that there's a room of people that don't like you.
So was it tough after that night to go back up there and do it again?
No, but it did make me, like... That feeling sucked so much worse because I wasn't used to it.
Has your comedy evolved in a way because of experiences like that? Like, you don't go into that direction?
Be good. It evolves because you hang around people, like even Rand on the show, like Rand, you watch them, grow as a comic and they're getting hilarious. Like, fuck, I gotta step up too.
That's how I felt when Rand
competition.
Yeah, well, when you hang around your friends and they're funny and you want to be funnier, as funny at least, it's same with everything, like when you guys are doing this show, like if you listen to another podcast, you want to be as good as them, if not better. So you're like, all right, they're doing this, I can do. It just makes you take your craft a little more serious.
Change the way your writing style is and all that.
I don't really change my writing style because it doesn't feel genuine if you do that, but it definitely is like I need to tighten up my jokes. I can't just go up there and act like an idiot.
Yeah.
How many years is it that you've been doing it so far now?
Probably like 6 or 7, I think. I saw a clip on Rooftop Comedy of me doing 2013, I think. But I still had my hair grown out and a mustache, so I definitely was fresh.
Right.
Like, I'm watching the jokes. I'm like, that's all brand new shit.
Like, you just sat down the acoustic guitar and got on stage.
I still play solo. I still do that all the time.
Yeah.
I love that. I got a new album coming out, like, still doing.
And that's that's just John Hayes, right?
Yeah. I have like 2 albums out already. I recorded a 3rd one, kinda. It's almost done.
And before Rand mentioned you and like you should get this dude on the show or whatever after we ended up doing it. Yeah, Rand was a fucking great guest, and I was like, whoever this dude suggests, for sure, got to go fucking add this dude on Facebook, see if they want to do a podcast and shit. But before that, my girlfriend actually showed me your music, like your side project and Flesh Mother and stuff like that, because I'm so bad about looking up new music. Like, I'll go to shows, but I'm a drunk, and I go to show and forget the fucking name of the band and shit. And I don't remember what I saw, and I don't bother looking them up. I don't do my due diligence. Been listening to the same fucking 2,000 songs since 2011, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not finding new music, and she's real good about it. And she was like, check out Flesh Mother.
With it. I get
she plays that, and like this doomy, like sludgy, fucking like real heavy, like slow fucking heavy drum beats. Dude screaming in the background. I was like, this is fucking right up my alley. Like, this is phenomenal. And then she was like, yeah, he's got this side project. And then she was like, I've seen him up at the Comet because they used to do like, I don't know if you guys like did a bunch of shows at the Comet or if you guys had a residency up there or some shit.
Yeah, we played up there for a month straight and it was wild. It was like, it was probably I think that was the best time with that band. You know what I mean? Just because everybody was still so excited to see us play. We were getting like money from the Comet. All our friends played. It was just awesome.
Yeah, she was all the time.
It was awesome. It was amazing.
She was living in Northside at that time, and she said she would go out all the time to see those shows specifically because it was so fucking like a good experience. She was like hyping up your band to me a bunch before we had Ran on, and I knew like what your name was and shit like that. Cool. So I was like, got to get this fucking dude on because I've been.
Do I know her? Is she cool? Who's your girlfriend?
Allie Sweeney. I don't know. Short, tattoos, glasses. Every person in Northside.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like such a.
That name sounds so familiar. I bet I do. Probably if I just see him.
Find a picture. You're like, yeah, I banged her like 4 years ago.
No, I'm not that sexual, dude. Pretty boring, man.
Right on. Yeah, but how long have you been doing Flesh Mother though? Is your comedy 6 years and you weren't doing
comedy's longer. Maybe 7 years comedy and then like 5 or 6 Flesh Mother.
How do you maintain doing both? That's what I'm like, because I've got these notes in front of me about like comedy and Flesh Mother. I'm like, how do you do both and be good at both? Because like from what I hear, you're a great comedian. I haven't heard you personally, but everybody hypes you up. And then Flesh Mother's a great band. I know that. And you've got another side project. I'm like, how do you juggle all these fucking balls and keep them like all quality?
The calendar on my phone is packed full of stuff, and then also it's like it's time management. Like I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't, so. Late at night, if people are like having trouble sleeping, they go, I just like work on music, I work on things. You have more free time than you think you do. Like I don't play video games. Like I don't, what I mean? Like my fun is like creating stuff.
Have you got a regular 9 to 5 or do you just make all money?
Oh, okay. I work at the racetrack. Yeah, believe it or not, comedy and music don't play anything.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So, I work at the racetrack with horses.
That sounds like an interesting job.
It's insane. It's awesome. It's the best. I've been doing that forever. Like my whole family does that. So I do that during the day and have these, which is also a lot of comedy comes from that because I hang around a lot of crazy people.
What are some stories from doing the racetrack? I wanted to ask you about horses because I like trying to vet you and come up with questions. I go to your Facebook page and it was like I tell jokes and fucking playing a band and it was like and sometimes do stuff with horses and that was the part that puzzled me. Like what the fuck is he talking about? Do stuff with horses.
The racetrack is an interesting place because your only qualifications like can you work with a horse? Especially way back in the day. Now the casinos are involved. It's a little more strict, but used to be a place where it didn't matter, you could be a felon, whatever, just a person that didn't like society, and you could go work at the racetrack because all you have to do is, can you work with animals? Yes, cool, you're hired. And it's still kind of like that. So you get these people from just all these wild, different walks of life that can come to the racetrack and make money, and it becomes this weird community of people that like just exist. You can live there. Like I've spent time living on the racetrack.
They've got like sleep in a hay bed or some shit.
They got like dorm rooms.
That's what I was thinking.
They got dorm rooms because they got people that are there 24. In case something goes wrong with a horse at night, you got to have somebody there.
Like what goes wrong though? I have such a respect for horses because I had 2 horses at my. Well, I wouldn't say I had them, but I lived with people who owned horses.
Cared with them. You cared
for them. Yeah, and I cared for them, and they are scary as fuck animals to me. I swear to God.
Yeah, there's different things. They get loose, at night, no one's around, or they get sick, or you need. Even just feeding them. They eat 3 times a day, different times. Water off, all that. You got to have somebody there to take care of them. Like having a pet, you can't just leave it somewhere for a while. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
So it just becomes this like kind of strange community of people from different walks that all exist in really close quarters, and they get a pretty dangerous job. So I don't know. My dad did it. My older brother, my younger brother, my mom, my grandpa, everyone did it. So I grew up in it. It's like second nature.
Second nature. Yeah.
But like, there's definitely some like wild humans.
Do you just care for the horses when you're up there, or what's the day by day?
I go early in the morning. I sit in a little office and I time their workouts for like the programs when they base the odds off of the times they work out in the morning sometimes. And so I sit with a bunch of stopwatches and time horses running around the track. And then I go at night during the afternoon during the races, and they when they break out the starting gates for a race, I stand in there with the horse and make sure they're standing correct and break like they're supposed to. And so like whenever you watch the horses break out the gates for a race, you'll see people standing in there with them on little pontoons about like that wide, like these little tiny, the size of like your foot, and you balance on that. It's weird.
That sounds like a wild job, man.
It's scary in the sense that like a horse is an animal of flight.
Yeah.
So their reaction to everything is like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Which is bad when they're in a tight quarters with with a person on their back and a person standing next to them, and they just like try to jump out the back.
Do people get hurt?
People
get hurt?
How many have you seen anyone get bucked?
Oh, I've seen guys get like their legs broke and neck.
Oh my God.
Their
What,
neck?
really?
When a horse falls down in a race, the jockeys.
He gets mashed.
I thought you were saying like you watched a man walk behind a horse and he just got bucked in the head. His neck
kicked in
broke.
the head.
Yeah.
That would be so fucked up. Man.
That stuff happens. I've never seen it. I've seen guys get kicked in the stomach and have to go to the hospital. Like
they get
You
broken
get, like
ribs.
internal bleeding and shit like that when you get kicked in the stomach.
Yeah. They can really do damage.
Kill you.
To you.
Damn.
They can really hurt you bad. But most of the people that have been doing it for a long time, and they understand how
the mannerisms around a horse.
Yeah, like they're not always gonna kick you if you walk directly behind them, but
They could.
Your second nature is like just take a couple extra feet. You know, like use your head.
Pay attention to their ears, see where they're listening and stuff. It's
and just,
at least that's what I learned. Like, hey, watch their ears. If you see the ears pointing backwards, then they know that you're behind them.
well, they're also that. It's like their ears pinned down when they're mad. So their ears are pinned. It's like don't fuck with them. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Kick you in the head, break your neck.
What are the biggest psychos that are living in this place that are like hanging out there and working there? Can you tell any of these fucking? I know this is your job.
You need to say their name.
Squirrely shit talking about
I'm
it.
trying to think, like, just stuff I saw as a kid. When I was a kid, I watched a guy they put the manure in these wagons, and they would they would have like these like wooden wagons on like they would hook up to a tractor and pull off to unload, and you'd put the manure in it. And you could unsnap these things, and one side would fold down, and they would put like a ramp for a wheelbarrow to go up and dump out into it. And I saw this guy from Mississippi tell me that he could ramp his bicycle over the wagon. And he started off because
you got all kinds of friends that are just trying to hop over shit that's super dangerous, don't you?
That's what he's telling everybody, and he's drunk, and he's like, "You want to bet?" And so he goes to get his bike to ramp. Now, keep in mind, the lead up to the wagon is dirt. And the bike he grabs is just like a 10-speed and starts going as fast as he can up to the ramp over this big wagon. Because it's not little. It's probably 6 feet in the air. Gets up to it, ramps about 3 inches, and just slams into the other side of the wagon, flips out, smacks across the street, skids all it. It's just like, slams. And it was just like shit like that. Just like, that was just like, like a Wednesday. It's not like it's not like Saturday night getting nuts. It was like Wednesday at like 5:30 in the afternoon. It's like, you don't think I can ramp that wagon? Like, no, like you can't.
Yeah,
no
absolutely
one can.
not. You're gonna fuck yourself up. But
Yeah,
I'd
like,
love
go
to see you
for it.
ruin your body.
Yeah, your bike sucks. You're in dirt. You can't do it. But if you're gonna do
Go
it,
for it, dude.
What's great is how the circumstances at work allow for that opportunity to happen.
yeah, because there's no boss. Now it's a little different. There's security. There's casinos are involved, and they have different security systems set up in place to make sure like they don't let you drink on the backside anymore where the barns are, which used to be as soon as training hours were over, everybody just have a bunch of beers and start partying. Kind of, they kind of cut that out. It's kind of a different world now than it used to be. Man, I wish I thought of it more. I could have had some more stories.
Oh, dude, you're all right.
Yeah,
There's just some wild people back there. That's just off the top of my head.
I was thinking about the straight edge thing. Do you have like some Jay Armstrong story where you're like shooting heroin into your asshole for 12 years first, and then you went straight edge? Or
No, I never. I grew up on the racetrack, and I saw a beer was never a party thing. It was just like an adult soda. Like I never had that. Like when you're a kid, and you're like, beer, I want to go to a party. Like it was just like, yeah, that's what those guys drink. Like,
That's his fucking head 24/7. This guy.
What?
I need to drink it.
Yeah. And so, dude, your laugh is awesome. It's like super loud, and
Annoying and
terrible,
joyous.
Nails on a chalkboard.
But so I just was never drawn to drinking like that. And then when I got into skateboarding, all the kids that smoked weed were just boring as hell. I just didn't think they were that cool. And being already kind of out there my own self, I just never
It's not
got
for
into
everyone.
it.
But you never did
no.
anything. I'm always curious about that. Like you never experimented at all, like 0%.
Nah, I didn't. I mean, I took a drink of beer. It tasted like shit.
Yeah, it's
like,
horrible.
I was like, well, what the?
It does
fuck
taste
is
like shit
this?
most of the time.
Yeah, so I wasn't into that. And then I got, I smoked a cigarette once. I had a goth girlfriend when I was like 7th grade. She would smoke cigarettes. She gave me one.
You gotta impress her. How else are you gonna get your dick sucked later behind the church?
Dude.
I'll take one for the team.
I know you said earlier you're not super sexual, but
Yeah, that was like
7th grade, those boners were ridiculous. You were just in math class. They're doing geometry
but
problems.
also I was fucking scared all the time. I was fucking afraid of women. So she was like smoking cigs, all badass. I was like, well, I was smoking one too. I was like, yeah, I got lightheaded.
I'm fine. I do this all the time.
I feel kind of fucked up, dude. Like I don't really like this. So I never got into that either. So it just got like over time, and then when you start going like get into high school, you're like, God damn, I don't really like these like bro dudes. I didn't. Then I went to. So like the normal society of like fraternity, like it just felt like drinking was like what frat dudes did. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't really like want to be involved in that. I don't like that world. I don't like that like get fucked up, dude. Like I never got into it.
Luke's looking at me with the biggest smile because he's like,
intervention.
You should have saw these signs.
Listen to him.
My alcoholic father, like, waking me up in the middle of the night, telling me crazy, scary shit and fucking punching holes in the wall and shit like that. Should have probably been like, let's not have a drink, but
it's just
Mike.
like, like, if I'm gonna just drink beers and fuck girls and be a prick, like I might as well join a fraternity. Like I might as well be a cop. That's how I look at it. That's a cool sound.
Yeah, that's why you drink beer. That real loud, annoying sound on a podcast.
And so that's why I never got into it. I just was never, and I never was interested in that like aspect of life.
Yeah,
like there's so many cool things in the world, and that just never.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's empty calories, a shit ton of it, a ton of sugar, and you feel like shit the next day, and it doesn't taste that good for the most part. And
also, when people get fucked up, I feel like it dilutes your view of reality.
Absolutely, it's dangerous,
and like. Not even, and almost not even like in a dangerous sense, and more of like a
guy. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Are you sober?
No.
Oh, you're like right on my team, like hyping me up, and you're just like, yeah.
I'm just not a big drinker by any means. My dad kind of.
And he knows that I'm an alcoholic, so he's looking at me like, "Come on, tell him the truth, John."
Scare him a little bit.
Like drugs and all that stuff, it just it's like, oh, it lowers my inhibition. It's like, yeah, but you also like don't really experience things,
and you don't remember it, yeah.
Well, you just don't really like, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, on the other side of that, people get drunk and have these wild adventures. So I don't know. To each their own. I never preferred it. It was never my thing. Alcoholism is, you guys joke a lot about it, but the real deal alcoholics, man, it's not funny.
Oh, no, I know.
My mom.
My dad's a real.
Yeah, well, that goes pretty deep because I didn't start drinking. I was pretty against everything for a long time until I was about probably like 20, 21. But my mom deals with alcoholism like really bad, even actively right now. Like we deal with it, and it's a huge problem in my family. Not to bring it down, but we can all we all know what that's like.
Yeah, my dad's 15 years clean.
We're not the same people as them, though.
Yeah,
so
to me, I wouldn't want to like. Why even tread the line?
If you haven't gone this, if you've gone this far without even trying, why give a fuck? Why would you even want to?
Yeah, I mean,
like it. I don't care for it.
My whole thing. I mean, even grown up, it's a good coping mechanism for like severe anxiety and like depression and shit. Not a good coping mechanism.
Yeah, but that's like
it's not something you should do.
Sometimes though,
but I also have fun doing it. There's also that I enjoy getting fucked up
after the crying and the
well, sometimes
self-loathing.
Sometimes your anxiety at a party is your natural body being like, "Hey, this is a bad vibe," and people are like, "No, I'll kill it." Start having beer, like, like. I used to make a stand-up joke about like that's how Dahmer killed people.
Yeah, he would get drunk every time.
He would just
have
go
to be
find
wasted.
a drunk person who had that wasn't aware that this guy's weird as hell. Like,
he would go and get super drunk and then murder people. That's what he would do.
He would go get gay clubs too. Yeah, do the same thing.
That whole situation.
Picked up drifters. The first kill that he had was a kid, and he killed him in Ohio. I think it was in. Forget exactly where it was that his dad lived, but he lived in Ohio, I believe. It might have been Columbus or something like that. But he picked up some 17-year-old hitchhiker and fucking killed him and broke his bones apart with a sledgehammer and scattered him in the backyard. Didn't kill anybody for like 6 years until he moved to Milwaukee, and then he started fucking picking up dudes.
He was a monster drunk.
Like I don't.
It's so crazy that people go out there and actually.
You knew a lot about that.
Yeah, I know a lot about a lot of serial killers.
You guys are
fucking weirdos.
All the signs are there, man.
Yeah, dude. Hey, don't listen to my band, man. God damn, man, that's scary shit to me.
It's just crazy that there's people out there, and then you probably cross their paths, and like they're murderers. They go out and kill people.
When you see somebody, and you're like, this dude's weird. Man.
This dude's a fucking
something
murderer.
Weird with this person.
This dude's a murderer.
I saw a wild meme that said.
Points at Luke.
I don't mean to, really.
He laughs at the darkest shit you'll talk to him.
Nah, that's probably.
He'll laugh.
There was one time when Pat was talking about getting because Pat used to play in bands for years or whatever, and he got fucking macked with a bass and like hits his head to where he's got like almost a traumatic brain injury. Look, watch his face while I'm telling this story.
I don't know why it's even funny.
He starts
it's not even
blacking
funny,
out.
Dude.
He woke up in the middle of one song, thought it was a different song, started fucking singing to that song instead because his brain's all fucked up. And Luke is making this face.
Look, he's
like about to fucking cry. He's a sick motherfucker. We call him Psychopath Luke. Thanks,
Psycho
Tank.
Luke, yeah.
Luke, what are you gonna say about that, man?
I laugh because I'm awkward.
Do you wearing makeup?
He doesn't know how to handle it.
You said you wearing makeup, Luke.
No, I don't wear makeup. Why?
Your eyelashes. It looked like you were wearing eyeliner. I was like,
Luke, do you wear makeup?
No, I'm just naturally beautiful, Patrick.
You ever worn makeup?
No.
It's okay if you have. It's not weird.
Well, I know that. I'm just being honest with you.
Point is, Luke's a psycho.
Yeah.
well, you were telling me he was a psycho. I looked and I was like, yeah, it kind of looks like he might be wearing like eyeliner. Like, I just.
I feel like he could have been talked into the Manson family at some point. Like the fucking.
What?
Yeah, the people that fall into cults, like you're one of those dudes that could probably fall into a cult. Like when you told me the story of how Speedway Steve fucking took 3 packs of cigarettes
Speedway Steve
from you.
was clearly a homeless man that needed some cigarettes.
This guy,
you don't buy a homeless man 3 packs of cigarettes. You give him
2.
one.
I gave him 2. He asked for 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it 2 instead of 3? You don't buy him 1 pack of cigarettes. You give him 1 cigarette if you have.
He doesn't know the story, but basically, Luke will give anything to anyone if you ask him. Yeah, it's.
I pulled up in a Speedway.
I wish somebody could be $20, man.
This very kind man decided to come up and ask me how my day was. He washed my windshield for me, and he asked for a pack of cigs. So I bought him a pack of 6. Then I saw him like year later. No, I don't buy 6.
So did you go in the store and just like, I need 1 pack of cigarettes?
One cigarette, please.
Yeah.
And just gave it to this dude. Mm-hmm. That's like $6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Sometimes
more
not for Luke.
shorts.
It was $12 because he hustled 2 packs of cigarettes out of him because he
That
forgot.
was the second visit I encountered Speedway Steve. Like a year later, year and a half or so, I saw him again at a different Speedway. I bought him 2 packs of 6.
Why didn't you? I would have been like, yo, keep cleaning, man. Do more work and change my oil too, dude. Like,
oh, he spun some stories.
These rims are looking a little.
You ever
dirty.
get those people that come up to your car and knock on your window and like literally try to get you to force to talk to them? That happened to me the other day.
That would no.
Someone came up to my window and knocked on it. And I'm like, I shouldn't look. I peeked it open. He's like, hey man, my family car just broke down the street and I need new tires. I'm $7.50 short. I need $7.50.
I don't like when people do that.
I'm an asshole.
I just say no, bro. No.
I say no. Sometimes I give them money if I have like some change around. Because sometimes I think those people are just beyond help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they're kind of fucked, man. Like they're drugs and stuff. So sometimes I give them money because I'm like, man, you're gonna turn your life around? Probably not. Like I just don't really like. So I sometimes give them money, but I don't. It's just rude when they interrupt you when you're doing something.
Yeah, like I'm just sitting at a red light, bro. You don't need to knock on my window and need $7.50.
It's been a while since that happened to me, really.
Oh, if you ever go to a mall, they'll be waiting to mob you as soon as you step out to leave.
At the mall?
They sit outside the doors.
Yeah, they wait for you outside doors.
What mall?
Pretty much every mall in the Ohio.
Kenwood. I've
Kenwood, Tri-County happens, Northgate happens every
Northgate.
time I've ever gone to Northgate.
I haven't probably been to a mall in a long time.
I guess I'm unapproachable because the homeless don't come up to me for dick. Never. I mean, every once in a while they'll be like, hey, I was like, I can't help you before they can even get it out. All the rest of them hear it.
I can't even help myself.
I'm also judging by your appearance. I probably would be like, this dude got like $3, probably like a food stamp. Like I was like, he ain't got nothing.
I like Slayer too, but don't be a dick about it, But I mean, yeah, I've seen like panhandlers downtown, especially downtown, where they are like just sitting there looking for money, and then their cell phone rings and they pull in the fucking iPhone, and it's just like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Have you ever caught?
It makes complete sense. They're trying to buy heroin. They have an iPhone to hit up their heroin dealer, and they need your money to buy the heroin. What are you not understanding? There's a whole dynamic here.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that culture. I try not to get. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a homeless culture.
Train hoppers, crust bunk kids, fucking.
There's all kinds of the weird subcultures and things about the world that I don't understand, and I never will. Like, I'm big into conspiracy theories for that reason.
Like what?
I don't, all of them. All.
Sorry,
Flat
I'm
Earth,
so interested.
everything.
Hold on.
Flat
a second.
Earth. Let's talk about it.
Before we talk about it, we're at about an hour. Can we?
Yes.
Let's keep talking about this. Let's take a break at an hour and then fucking go back to. Will you do conspiracy theories after the break?
Oh hell yeah,
dude! Let's jump balls deep into conspiracy.
We have a conspiracy theorist coming on next week.
Oh yeah, I love all that shit.
I'll tell you about it.
I love it.
All right, let's break time.
See you, folks.
We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Really quick before we get into anything, as all episodes, we're sponsored by Kneel to No One. That's Anthony Tank Mansfield. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times. Great fucking guest. Great dude. He's got all kinds of cool shit. He's got these great glasses that we're drinking out of right now, the Kneel to No One glasses that I'm holding up and John's holding up. You can buy those from his website, KNEELTONOONE.com. He's got glassware for any of your drinking needs. If you're a booze hound like me, beer, put that beer in there. And he wouldn't advertise it like
Cozies,
this, but
stickers, and t-shirts.
Swear to God, it makes the beer taste better. It
It's
does.
making my water taste better.
Yeah, dude. Water. If you're straight edge, like that's what I was gonna say. If you're straight edge like John, you put your Kool-Aid, you put your Crystal Light, whatever you're drinking, just plain
Damn, he's harsh.
unfiltered tap
He's
water.
like, he's even gonna make baby bottles for the straight edge guys.
Nothing like that. It'll make it taste fantastic. All right. He didn't tell us to say that. I'm saying that of my own volition. But he's also got what Luke's about to say.
Also, congratulations to Anthony Tick Mansfield for passing your Gracie University combative test in jiu-jitsu. He just got his white belt. He'll be moving on to blue.
Yeah, so beat your ass if you don't buy his merch. He
Wait,
said
don't
it
you-
himself.
Don't you start with a white belt? Isn't
Well,
that the
see,
first
the
shit?
Gracie University with the jiu-jitsu thing is like you have to get tested by like the greats to make it anywhere.
Dude,
he had to do a whole combative test in front of these people.
Getting
It's
any
crazy.
belt is
Yeah.
a fucking achievement because it's like
Yeah.
a grind whenever you do martial arts at all. It's a fucking grind to get
Yeah.
anywhere. and
Congratulations, bro.
yeah, so fucking get it, man, and buy his shit.
Buy his stuff because he did it.
Dope
Yeah.
T-shirts, man. He gave us some awesome fucking shirts that you can get from him. Enamel pins. You can get that glassware that we were talking about. I mean, he's got custom art that you can buy off of him. I mean, don't hit him up for some fucking weird shit. You know, can you paint me and my girlfriend naked doing a doggy style? No, he probably can't paint that. But
Maybe if you pay him absurdly
He might.
amount.
I don't know. He might. Might.
I'm gonna hit him up. Yeah, you got a picture of your girlfriend? Like, nah, just make one up, bro. Just
Yeah.
put anybody. I don't care.
it's Alice Cooper. But in his late 70s.
Hey, you got long hair and smooth skin. What's up, bro?
could be-
Hey, dude.
You my boyfriend now.
Prison podcast rules.
Anyways, before we got onto a break, we started to talk about how you liked conspiracies.
I love them.
We're going to have a conspiracy theorist rejoin us on the show next
So-
week. We've had him on before.
Yeah. Robert Reynolds, the fucking G.
Round
But-
Earth Denier.
Round Earth denier. He's not a flat earther, but our first podcast we ever did was a flat earther too in
I love
Cody's
it.
basement or garage. And Robert Reynolds came fully prepared. He had like a whole half of a dictionary's worth of research. He brought over this fucking flat earth
That's
poster
amazing.
and he wrote NASA lies and he signed it.
I want to get one of those posters. Actually, I was looking to get one the other day.
Hit our
ordered
dude
it.
Robert
Come on.
Reynolds up. He knows where to get him, apparently.
Yeah, those are amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm not even like a crazy flat earther guy like that. But I just love it. I hope that's true. I hope the Earth is flat, and
Why do you hope?
because it would be fun, man.
It'd
I'm
be
gonna look at
fun.
That would be so fun to have. What am I doing with this?
If you wanted to look at it,
I'm-
it was
I'm-
weird.
You just showed it
We
to
can
him.
show it afterwards.
I've fucking been gawking at those maps. They're awesome.
They're crazy.
Like I hope that's real. Like I hope that all these conspiracies are real.
For sure, it's not.
And,
though.
then
these
and
people
the
are-
government's lying to us, and there's reptile people.
Well, the
and
government does
interdimensional
lie.
Child molesters.
They do.
Oh, the
lie.
child molester stuff. That ain't even
That's a fact.
that's the few conspiracy that I don't hope is true, and I know is true, and it's gross. Like if the priests are fucking children, you think the actors aren't? Shit, they all.
Oh,
are.
I'm sure there's
Oh,
some
they
weird
all are.
shit.
Yeah, they
so-
busted
Like
all
Kevin
kinds of-
Spacey kind of
all
nasty
of 'em.
shit.
And then the guy that accused him is like dead.
Or
Like it's some
fucking
weird-
R. Kelly's
He's
little
dead
sex
now?
cult.
There's something weird like that happened. Like
What?
Dude,
like the kid, one of the people that was accusing Kevin Spacey, like got killed
get the
or
fuck out
died
of
or
here.
something like
No
that.
way.
Well, he was on
pretty sure.
House of Cards. Maybe he's got some
But-
political connects now.
But what I'm saying is like a lot of that stuff. Like I just hope that like a lot of the stuff is true. Like the flat. Like how fun would it be if the Earth actually was flat, and all this time, like you have been lied to, and there is no South Pole and all that shit. Like that would just be amazing.
You're saying it's amazing to prove so many people wrong that have so
Dude,
much
because
truth.
it's like the first thing you learned as a kid.
That would warp
Like the
your
Earth is
entire
round. 2 +
reality.
2 is 4, and then it's like, maybe the Earth isn't round. Like what the?
I
fuck?
bet that would seriously rock some people's foundations of reality. I bet there'd be a mass
Yeah.
suicide
Just-
event. I bet some fucking seriously dark and
It
crazy.
wouldn't
I bet there
change-
would.
No, but it wouldn't change anything because we're
Religion?
already.
It would
I mean,
change
maybe
religion.
that, you know,
yeah,
but
it would change everything that people
maybe.
believe in.
Maybe you would just go on about your day and be like, huh, goddamn.
The shit's so implausible though
If you
because
didn't, yeah.
like everything that we've like, it would take so many people lying about.
Not really. That's the crazy
dude,
thing.
it
It's
would,
not
though.
really.
How would you lie about a flat Earth when there's multiple satellite images of the Earth that like you can look up at any given time? There's live
Because
feeds
the
from
people that look at that think it's real.
What about
That's
the
how that works.
It's just like, why would you teach for generations and generations that something's round just to lie about it being flat? Why not just tell everybody it's flat from the begin with, so that way it's normal?
Because their whole thing is it's about control. Like most conspiracies are all about the Illuminati controlling people. And so that's like their whole, if you make people, like that's their whole, like the reason they think the earth is flat is they think that it's meant to make people feel insignificant by saying you're just a mote of dust in a sunbeam, as Sagan would say. You know? So they have this like crazy thing like that. And so a lot of conspiracy people are drawn to that because they feel like losers or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and so I don't I forgot what I was even talking about, but that's like their whole thing is that it makes you feel insignificant, and it's about control, and they make people don't fight the power because you're nothing.
The thing about conspiracies though is that conspiracy is a legitimate thing that happens where people conspire to do so. Like you were talking about at the beginning of the episode.
I got arrested for it.
Exactly. Conspiracy is a real thing, but now it gets associated with like flat Earth and fucking like chemtrails and like aliens raping your ass while you sleep and all this fucking crazy shit, and then it delegitimizes real conspiracies that are going on, and then keeps people from actually paying attention.
Stuff is like disinformation, you know, that they flood you with kind of like nonsense conspiracy theories to make the real ones look like they're nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about for sure.
So it's a lot of stuff. I mean, like that whole like the Nazis coming to America after the war, like that for sure happened.
Oh, they didn't come to. They came to South America specifically. They said that Hitler might even have gotten away because the only thing that they have left of Hitler is it's the top of a skull or whatever, and it's because they say that he shot himself in his little bunker or whatever, and they took him out and burned him and Eva Braun's bodies. And the only thing that was left after they burned them was the top of his skull, and that's what they still have in a museum. But that skull doesn't match up to an adult skull, let alone a male adult skull. Like it seems like a smaller.
It's the same reason they say they threw Bin Laden's body at sea. Why? No, they wouldn't. Like it's like this crazy thing where people
didn't bring his body back.
No, they threw it at sea.
Well, they say they did that so that there wasn't a spot that he was buried, so that they didn't have some type of spot to memorialize him. And it's like for sure you buried him in the desert, but
it's
like
also
or somewhere.
Burn him or
well, it's also like what is this? The fucking like the Game of Thrones where like he has no grave. Like get the fuck out. Who cares, dude? like they can't, there's nowhere to make a place for the guy. Like yes, there is. That's not. No one's gonna like. That's ridiculous.
Well, it seems ridiculous.
And it's also
but
ridiculous to think that America has any real morals.
I don't think it was a moral thing. I think it's with that situation specifically. It's about you're not dealing with people that are thinking rationally when you're talking about like fundamentalist, like extremist sects of Islam specifically.
They use it as a
I'm
symbol as like terror, most likely.
What I'm saying is like in general, when you're thinking about conspiracies, what makes me like believe some of them is the idea that like the United States of America is not the most moral people. Like there's like not the people that run this country are terrible. And they don't give a fuck about human lives. They don't care. Like, how hard is it to stretch to think? Like, they brought the Nazis here. Where it's not that hard to think they were probably on their team the whole time, and that's why America didn't really want to get involved in the war, you know. And there were slaves here, all kinds of shit.
They brought Werner von Braun over, and he was a Nazi rocket scientist that used to hang the 5 slowest Jews at his factory when he was working in Nazi Germany or whatever. At his factory, basically Jewish slaves that he had working for him hang the 5 slowest ones that worked there. And then instead of him being charged for war crimes, they brought him over to develop the rockets for NASA, and that's why we got to the moon so fast. And they said something about
allegedly got to the moon fast.
Well, yeah. Another great conspiracy.
Do not forget, my guy.
Flat Earth.
Yeah, dude. Flat Earth. The moon's made of pizza and cheese.
I just think they're.
Hologram.
I think conspiracies are just the most fun thing. And
It's
so I
so
listen to
fun.
them all the time, even though sometimes late at night I start getting freaked out, But I think they're great. Like I said, the idea of them is better, and they're all believable because America's like the biggest shithead country of all time.
What conspiracy theory scared you the most?
The pedophile stuff. That I don't even think is conspiracy. It's just
It's definitely. I feel like it's definitely out there. It's just like
it's
not
just
what we're
so-
thinking it is, but it's
just
so fucked.
It's not a
fucking-
ridiculous conspiracy theory. It's a legitimate
Yeah.
conspiracy that is happening. That's
It's just-
provable.
Yeah, and like the Catholic Church and these things it's just so fucking gross that it just bothers you. And the Hollywood stuff, like that. There's a documentary called An Open Secret. It's just fucking horrible.
What's that about?
Yeah.
It's about child sex abuse in Hollywood and Nickelodeon, that fucking bullshit ass company that hires these fucking convicted child pedophiles to work on their TV shows with children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
wasn't,
definitely, they're definitely out there. That's
It's
a real thing.
Yeah, and it's like you don't think they're in on it too. There's more than just the ones that got caught. If they're hiring them right back, fuck, that's delusion.
What about that actor who was in
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman.
Feldman.
He knew right away. That
Yeah.
guy. That guy has been going on for years about how
Yeah.
he was subjected to it.
Yeah, lots of people. Him and Corey Haim both. And there's a lot of stuff like that. That's the conspiracy that is like real gross to me. That I don't like that one.
Makes you sick to your stomach.
Yeah,
because-
it's fucking
yeah, but-
horrible.
And it's real.
And that's why-
there's proof of
Yeah,
it. Like, it's
yeah.
not like some fun fucking the moon's a hologram shit. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if we were just all getting lied to?
That there's
That'd be fucking
aliens.
crazy.
There's
Yeah.
aliens on the dark side of the moon.
And then here's the other conspiracy: kids are getting fucked, and it's real. And you're like, oh god.
But what about
all
the
right.
aliens?
Jesus Christ.
yeah, there's like that. There was the round Earth denier. Does he believe that there's no aliens? Right.
I don't know. He
don't
believes
know.
every which way that you could like
Well,
whatever.
Because here's the thing,
Anti-vax, all the shit,
a lot of the flat earthers don't believe in aliens either.
Well, like anytime we've
It's
ever
kinda-
talked to him, okay, let me say this.
Counterintuitive.
I'm gonna assume not, because the first one we talked to was the day of the eclipse. I'm talking about that was so fucking mind-boggling. Did you watch that shit?
What, the
The
eclipse?
eclipse?
I mean, I know.
It was crazy to see. It felt like some out of Hellboy. It was nuts. But we had him
First
on the
it was
podcast.
light, then it was dark, and then get this, bro, it was light
Well,
again.
well,
Shit
no,
was crazy.
wait,
I mean, I was like
Well, no, no, no.
outside. I was like, hey, goddamn. There's the
Well,
eclipse.
like what? No. Like what made it crazy is that the animals, like the ecosystem, thought it was getting dark, so things were abnormally quiet, and it felt like you were wearing sunglasses the whole time, even though you weren't. So it was so trippy, and all the light reflections on the ground were in the shape of the eclipse.
Yeah,
So it
that
was
was
very,
pretty cool.
and then you look up with the glasses, like you can't look
Damn,
at
I
it.
forgot about that. The shadows got real cool.
Yeah, and then you look at it with the fucking glasses, and you just see this crevice, and like that's fucking there and real, and it's so fucking mind-boggling that people created like religions and human sacrifice off this shit. It's kind of a surreal moment for humanity to witness that kind of thing, and we get to see
Yeah.
it. And so when we had that fucking flat earther on, he said he didn't believe in satellites, he didn't believe in any of that shit, and I wish I remembered at that time. Like, do you think other planets are flat? Like,
They
Is it
don't think
just
there is
Earth?
other planets.
they sometimes they do.
What is their explanation
yeah.
for the moon then? We should ask this
Fake.
dude this shit.
They think it's all fake. That there is no space.
They think there's an ice wall
They
that
think
goes
the
around
stars-
the whole border too. That the governments of the world they start talking about the Treaty of
Yeah.
Antarctica and
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that. And
The Nazis were
Arctic
always
Treaty.
The Nazis were always going to set the Antarctica too.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, like that was like a big. They have some of it is insane, like the dome. They were like on some Truman show.
That's
and-
what the first guy was into. He thought like all the stars in the sky were reflections of the sun in the water. That was why the sky was blue.
Yeah,
what does he
it's-
think
okay.
the sun is? God's light bulb that's just hanging above
I
the
don't
can never
know.
explain.
I mean, like some of it's ridiculous. I think it's the most fun.
It's
And I
pretty
love,
interesting.
and there is some weird shit to it. There is some weird truth to it. That when you realize certain things that you always assume that everyone knows about, and then you're like, damn, we don't really know that. Like that, I was watching this conspiracy about the Malaysian Airlines.
The
and-
disappearance.
Yeah, I was watching a documentary about that, and it was like talking about like how radar works. It is like just not that well. Like not. There's mass time when you're going over that giant ocean where they don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I didn't know that.
Well, there's no towers and antennas out there that's
it's just
beaming
nothing.
off of. They're
you
using
just
satellites.
leave, and then you're just gone until hopefully you show up on the other side. Like,
Isn't that crazy?
that stuff like that. I'm like, dude, we don't really even have like. You're under the impression that you're watched at all times. You know what I mean? That there's basically something around
Something
that
protecting
you're
you.
not. And then when you see something like that, and you're like, so you go on that air flight, you're isolated for a long time. That's scary to me.
Yeah.
Scary
Yeah.
as fuck, dude. I don't like getting on airplanes just going like got on some 45-minute flight to DC having a panic attack the whole fucking time.
I flew to
Like,
Japan. It's like 15 hours.
get the fuck out of here with this. I'm flying to Japan shit. I couldn't. What you were just talking about.
That sounds
like,
awesome.
It's just a panic attack the whole time. Like,
Yeah, it's a horrible flight. It's long, and then you land, and the time is different. I didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, you get jet lag.
It was like a day and a half later when you land. From when you leave to when you land, it's like days later.
get the fuck out
It's
of here.
weird.
Yeah, that's
Like, I don't
completely
time
on the other side of the
Are
planet.
you just the entire time like this bitch is going down into the ocean? Like the entire time you're staring at the deep blue sea and the fucking clouds and shit
Dude, like
that?
10 hours in, I was like, that'd be kind of exciting. Considering I've been sitting here in
Boring
this
as
crowded
fuck.
ass plane, just like, oh, watching terrible movies.
I had a scary moment on a
Yes.
plane once. I had a scary moment. One time I was flying down to Atlanta and there was this huge storm and we only had like so much amount of fuel in the jet to actually get to that area because it's a layover. And as we're like going over there, there's a big ass storm over the actual airport. You can see it and it's so crazy where it's like flat on the bottom and just how tall this fucker gets. And you see all these planes circling around it and it seems like they're all moving so slow. And as we're going around, no one was like telling us what was going on, so we were all kind of like, why are we just circling this? Can we land? And since there was a bad storm, they were wondering like if we just start gliding, we'll stop using as much fuel. And the turbulence was so bad that the lights were starting to go out in the fucking plane, and I was hanging onto the side clenching.
Dude, this
it was
sounds
so
like
horrifying. But they like said, okay, well, we're gonna go to another area, so we went like a half hour south, and we landed there, and it was fine. But for a moment there, it was like everyone was
Man, you're
dead
lying.
silent. No, I swear to God.
This sounds like The Rock was in it, dude.
I
Was he
swear
like,
to God it
like
happened.
Dwayne The Rock
Well,
Johnson's your pilot. He's like reaching out. They roll
That's
the
what it
window
was
down
like.
to talk to the other pilots.
The
Like, "You gonna
turbulence?
land? No.
Well, I
No
know
way, dude.
For sure it happened. It
From what
was
I-
scary as fuck.
No
We're
way.
fine. It was fine. It was just for like 10 minutes as we were circling this thing. It's not like we were running out of fuel,
Nah, this is how
but they only had so
conspiracies start.
much.
Somebody tell me something, I'm like, yeah, right. Airplanes
Totally
can't-
happened.
Well,
airplanes can't circle.
when I used to work at DHL CVG airport, they would like all day, and it would be a super weird thing to watch. Like you would see 6 planes at once, like
Yeah.
circling
Totally
the place
happens.
because they
Like
have
vultures.
to wait. Basically, the runway has to be like loaded one by one. Like one plane has to go, and so many flights might show up at the same time, and you just watch these things just whiz around.
That's all they can do. That's all because they only have so much fuel, so they got to like basically glide around
And then you
try
think
not to use
about
their engines.
the angles that they're at, that these pilots are at while
Like
they're
this.
they're
like borderline almost 90 degree. It's
So they're
crazy. You're wearing your seatbelt the whole
sitting
time.
like
It's
this for,
nuts.
Like 3 hours.
Whoa.
Like,
I mean,
at
It was
a
only like 10
complete
minutes for
angle.
me, but we just flew like a half hour more south, and I don't remember where we landed, but it was just a little bit further from Atlanta, and we was fine. But the turbulence was shaking so much as we're just gliding, and you just look out the window, and you see this huge fucking storm, and you see all these planes circling. It's quite a surreal experience. It doesn't even feel
Whoa.
real. It's so crazy to
I'd
watch.
be kissing the ground and fucking selling my return ticket to fucking drive back myself in a
dude,
rental.
I would probably just have my headphones in and be like, damn, why are we in the air still? I would have no clue.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get out of the world.
sideways and shit.
Yeah, like this is kind of a boring ass flight, dude.
I wanted to make that the last flight I've ever been on, but I've been on flights since, and I just bring my Switch, and it's like totally fine. I just get in my own world and just
Your
don't think
Switch?
about it.
Never
Nintendo
flown.
Switch. It's a game console, handheld game console. It's just to keep me
I feel
distracted.
so stupid right now.
It's
thought he meant like Switchblade or something.
James.
He's like, it's a game console. I was like,
He's just in there whipping a knife around.
I had a Gamecast once.
I had no clue.
Have you heard of a Super NES?
I
Dreamcast, perhaps?
I got a PlayStation, but I'll play like UFC, and that's about it.
That sounds pretty cool.
I don't know anything about games.
How long have you been? You said you do MMA, or you used
Yeah,
to
I
do
did.
it?
I had like 9 fights.
Ooh.
I did it for a bunch
Oh,
of
shit.
years. I like to go to this gym. There's a gym in Newport. There's jiu-jitsu and boxing and stuff. I go down there and play around, but I don't want to get hit in my head anymore, really.
How many
It's bad.
motherfuckers did you lay out?
I had 5 wins and 4 losses, so I wasn't that good.
Hey,
And that was
How much
kind of
ass did you clap?
that was the reasoning when I quit. Was like I had a few like title fights towards the end because I won a bunch. I won like 5 in a row, and they start giving you this like you step up, and the fights just got brutal.
Yeah.
And it was like you win and you hurt, and then you hurt. It's like I had to have that realization where I'm not going to be a world beater. You know, I'm okay.
Were you taking a lot of damage to the head, or taking a lot of like body
Hey,
shots?
what's
and
it
shit?
like being in the ring?
The gym is when you get hurt. The ring, you know, you're doing everything 100%. You're not learning. You're doing what you can to win. When you're in the gym and you're like practicing things, that's when you get, you know, you spar 10 rounds and the fight's only 3. So, you know, like the fight is, you know, hurts, you know, whatever. But the gym, like day in, day out, that abuse to your body is when it.
Do you also have dudes in the gym that are trying to fucking like win this fight? Like they're in there trying to be dickheads about it instead of like learning shit with each other?
But you learn, you know, you have a guy that does that a few times, and after a while you're like, all right, man, like,
Not rolling with this dude anymore.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna mess with that guy. He's kind of a dick. But then, you know, sometimes you're that guy if someone's a prick. It's weird. It's a weird world, you know. Like, and that's what I was saying earlier about like the homeless people. Like, there's certain subcultures that I just don't know about, so I just have no stance on it. You know what I mean? Like I don't pass judgment because I'm like, I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know what it's like to be a homeless guy. Maybe you do have phones. You're still homeless.
I guess that's true.
I know a homeless dude who got a cell phone. He talks to me on Facebook and stuff. He, you know, and he lives in the woods behind Citibank in Erlanger.
Right.
You know, he didn't used to, but now he does. You know, and he has a bad drug habit, and you know, sometimes he sends you insane messages on Facebook about prostitutes or whatever.
Well, that's the reason to have him as a friend on Facebook. Get some material out of him.
And so it's like, you know, that's why I try not to pass too much judgment the older I get, where I start to realize, I'm like, you know what, man, like there's a lot of things I just don't know about.
Well,
I feel
since
like,
you're like a MMA dude, I feel like you would appreciate a guy like this, a real like technically skilled type of. I mean, he's down with the clown. He's a juggalo.
I saw ICP a couple weeks ago. It was amazing.
Oh, really?
What was that like?
We got to get into that for sure. But this dude's like a bona fide, like, he's a legit thug.
Oh, he got a T-shirt on say "Down with the Clown."
That's
dude.
how you know he's a thug. And
Is he a backyard wrestler?
Fuck
He's a
yeah,
fan.
he is.
He's all about the fan.
And he's gonna
yeah.
demonstrate some techniques for you right here. Now I figured
WWE.
you as a skilled like MMA fighter and shit, like
Can
you know
the people
your shit.
watching, they can see this, what you're playing on here?
Unfortunately, with the current setup, they can't. In a couple weeks, you fuckers will be able to find it. But if you want to look it up, it's Superhuman
Flying elbow drop onto a toaster.
Shane McMahon style.
Dude's a
Please play
monster.
this.
If for
Is he
our
a
listeners,
midget?
if you
Wait.
want to look this up, Superhuman, human spelled with 2 M's, because this dude's a fucking
Super
idiot.
humming.
Yeah,
You mean he's a savage?
Is he a
He's
midget?
a fucking savage.
What's up with his legs?
I don't know, just tiny little legs.
Yeah, he's
do
got
leg
really
day, bro.
small legs.
Hold on, let me get the. I probably should have checked the sound before I started playing
Probably.
videos.
Wow.
What are we doing wrong?
I love these people that just like they get caught in these
This
viral
rules.
videos of just doing something stupid, and then that becomes their identity, and they just want to keep hurting themselves, being a fucking idiot. It's fucking great.
Is he gonna fit between those 2 chairs on that little tiny? There's no way this goes well.
Find out,
Dude,
yeah,
this
like-
Sunday.
I hate to
Send
do
him-
this.
Where's he from?
I hate to do this. 1 second. We have to turn it off and turn it right back on for
Okay.
this sound to work.
So unprofessional.
Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
stop the podcast, right?
We all hate Cody.
1 second. All right, we turned it right back on. Pat's pissing though. It looks like there's a super fucking
Yeah, he's
like,
gonna miss Superhuman fucking up this toaster.
dude.
This
I
is
thought
amazing. He has a bunch of these videos.
he's got a fuckload of videos. I thought that this was gonna be a one and done for this guy when I found the video originally, and then
Oh, Cody.
you can't blame me for Pat's internet taking a shit in the middle of the podcast.
Is this recording again?
It's recording again, and we've got network issues. God damn it! All right, so there's this little kid. I don't know if he's special. I
This
don't
is
know
the
if
guy in the
he's-
video. That's not a little kid. He has a beard.
Okay, but he's a little kid with
This
a
is a
beard.
small man.
Might be a 35-year-old little kid. Is the way that I'm looking at it and shit. And he's in his backyard to set this up for our listeners. He's on some fucking like the back porch. If the back porch is just one, like 3 boards,
Yeah,
and
he's
some
got like
fucking steps or
He has
whatever.
like a square set up between 2 folding chairs with a toaster on it.
Cameras directly in front of it, and then he has a little.
And it's like
speech that he's
it's like a
gotta make.
rusty toaster too. It's not like it's like from his house.
Well, you would hope that if this man's going to be fucking doing weird backyard wrestling moves on it, it's not going to be the brand new toaster that his mom
True, yeah.
/ caretaker is bringing into him and shit like that.
This guy's great. I wish I would hang out with this guy. He's superhuman.
I
I'm
wish
about
that,
to have add him on Facebook and try to get him to come hang. Is he from here?
I have no fucking idea. I wish that the internet wasn't broken.
If you get in contact with him, you send him our way when you're done.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out whatever's wrong with your Wi-Fi right now, Patrick.
Nah, I couldn't tell you.
Fuck the videos.
Yeah, it's all right. Anyways, this guy, once this is back up, we'll show you. But this guy's a fucking idiot. I love when people do this shit on the internet.
Well, I love backyard wrestling.
What's that? What do you mean?
I think it's great.
Is that like it's
the
not like
raw
Kimbo
shit?
Slice kind of fight videos, is it?
It's like genuine. It's like people doing WWF in their backyard. I love that.
Oh my god, people really do that shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no. I've seen people who jump off the roof of their like trailers or
Yeah.
their houses and they'll fucking land on like plastic furniture.
Yeah, and they're like characters, and they have their like. I used to go. They used to have this thing called the NWF, and they would have wrestling matches in Camp Washington at this warehouse.
Seriously?
Yeah. You pay $5, you can go in there and watch it. It was awesome.
Did they have like ECW style fucking baseball bats with barbed wire?
No, it was a classic wrestling. Like they would like have like a guy that was like a American guy, and then another guy would put in like headlocks and taunt the crowd. It was amazing. Like it was like old school wrestling. And it wasn't like.
I bet people got hurt as fuck.
I mean, wrestling is hard. I tried to do it. I tried to get into it. I went to the classes and stuff. You have to take classes for a while, and it's a lot of like theater stuff. Kind of like you have to remember how it flows together so it doesn't look like shit. You know what I mean? Like
taking a fake punch or whatever and
but
falling
like
properly.
it's not even just like learning to take a fake punch. Like you can learn that in 2 seconds. It's more learning how to build up into how to tell a story without talking it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To make it believable.
To make the match climax up, to build it up. You start off light, and then you do like some chain wrestling, and then you build up to this middle part, and then there's a big ending for the pinfall. But to build that up without talking to the other person and without the audience knowing that you're communicating, it's just like there's a flow to all that. That's really hard.
Right.
So when I see like when you watch like a pro wrestling match, like there's a whole like world. They're discussing.
It's crazy.
So when you were getting into it, did you have an idea as to who you were gonna be? Like did you have a whole character?
Yeah.
persona
I wanted
design?
to be a good guy, but I wanted to be such a good guy that people didn't like me. That was my plan.
like a John Cena
CM
kind of
Punk.
character,
Just like absurdly positive and happy, and just lose all the time.
Happy Man.
The Cake.
The Cake, is
I
that
wanted
the
to be,
name?
yeah, I wanted to be Sweet John the Cake.
I think that's
Yes.
great
That
though.
was my pro wrestling name.
That's like CM Punk when he tried to do UFC or whatever, just super positive, just gets his ass kicked every single
He got
fucking
his
time.
ass kicked, didn't he?
I mean, yeah, but
Dude, I saw him
He's not
once
allowed
at,
to
Raw.
fight anymore.
Is he really?
Yeah.
he can fight somewhere.
No, I mean, well,
his
yeah, probably
backyard.
somewhere,
Not
but
in
in
UFC.
UFC, it
Camp
ain't ever
Washington.
happening again.
He shouldn't have been there anyways.
I
was such a weird
think the
thing.
guy who beat his ass in the last UFC fight is also not fighting in the UFC anymore.
Yeah, Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will. He's not that good. He's all right.
Who was the dude right before that beat his ass?
Mickey Gall.
Yeah,
Mickey
that
Gall's
dude's
good, though.
awesome.
And that's like the thing. Like when I was doing MMA, is realizing I'm like, do I want to be a CM Punk, get paid and just get your fucking head swole up? Like no.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
seeing
not
the
worth
old
it.
guys come in the gym and their bodies are broken down, and it just kind of like, this better just be a hobby. I'd rather just tell jokes.
Have you encountered anyone punch drunk when you were in that scene at all?
You see people that are a little different
Yeah.
because it does happen. Mostly boxers.
What's punch drunk?
It's like you just like brain trauma, just years of abuse to your head, and they talk a little slurry. Their memory's real bad. It's like a weird. Like boxing gyms have guys that are like that.
That's interesting. I never knew that was a thing. I mean, I knew people got hurt for the
CTE
long run.
now. They call it CTE. Like it's
football
different.
players and
Yeah.
shit got to deal with that.
Yeah, and the thing with football is they always would say it was safe. Boxing was like, no, you're going to get brain trauma.
Football is not safe either, though, because they put out that 30 for 30 on it, and they were
Yeah, it's
talking
not
about
safe.
you get CTE like 90% of the time, even if you just
29
played
of them out of 30.
Even if you just played 1 year of high school fucking football, like you could be third string nothing just doing the practice workouts and shit. Just all the slamming your body around fucking jiggles your brain in your head enough to where.
And that's with fighting where it's like that's part of it. Like, if you're gonna do it, like I remember the first time I getting into it, and the coach being like, "This is a combat sport. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna get hit in your head, you're gonna get your nose broke, your ears are gonna get a little fucked up. You know,
you're like, fuck yeah,
dude. This is why I wanted to fucking pull up that kid's videos because you're talking about the theatrics of like pro wrestling,
and it's a lot of that. It's amazing.
This though is the kid just fucking throwing his body into like just breaking his neck and fucking his arms up and like just taking damage unnecessary. He's not doing.
Man, I wish this would work.
Can we reset?
We can look it up on our phone.
Can you reset your Wi-Fi router? Is that an easy thing to do?
Or we could segue past it.
Yeah, we just do some different shit.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine too.
Cody's so
I just want to watch this dude get laid out by a microwave right quick because watch him fucking clonk himself out on a microwave.
What's fucking crazy to me about like MMA though is when people are actually out there like in the fucking ring is like afterwards you can still keep your cool long enough after getting like punched in the face and having all that adrenaline to be like, it's all good, dude, congrats, or something like, hey, you did a good job after you just punched my front teeth out. Or
well, it's because it's a sport. You know, you don't look at. I never would look at it as like, oh man, this guy beat me up in a fight. It was like
in front of people. It
was like a contest. Like when you get punched super hard, if a dude hit me on the sidewalk like that, like I'll be like, it would hurt your feelings. You know, you'd be like, ow. You know, instead of in an MMA fight, you register it as like, hey, nice move, like good shot. Like it doesn't hurt. You just know that was a hard punch. That you were susceptible to it. You know, so you look at things like that. Like when I would lose the guys, instead of being like, oh, like I can't believe I got beat up. It was more like, damn, that guy. You know, he had a really good wrestling base. You know, I couldn't pass his guard. I couldn't do. You know, you have these like different things you look at. You're like, all right, I need to get on my head movement better because he was teeing off on me. You know, so you just look at things weird.
When you were losing in those fights, was it like what was the thing that you lose by normally? Is it the same thing consistently that made you go like, fuck this, like it's just not for me? Or...
No, I mean, I lost decisions. I got submitted a couple of times. My ground game wasn't on level with a lot of the guys that have been wrestling forever. But I mean, I got TKO'd in the first round in front of my mother, man. That's
fuck. Well, it wasn't her first time going, was it?
Oh man, she'd seen me win. That was the first time she saw me lose.
Damn, that would have been a bad first time.
Oh, it was gross. Swelled my face up. It was disgusting.
I'd almost rather suck a dick in front of my mom.
That's
I got
weird.
like one punch off, got took down, and got in a bad spot, and just got like the rep said, "I'm gonna give you." He said, "I'm giving you 2 punches." I'm going, no, I'm okay. He's punching the hell out of my head. And then after about 20 punches, he stopped the fight.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was mad. I was like, what the hell, man? What the fuck? I'm yelling, throwing my mouth guard, being a baby. And I'm in the back getting my wraps cut off my hand. And I'm going on about how the ref stopped it too early. I got this. I'm like, I was fine, bro. And my team wasn't really agreeing with me. They were just kind of hearing me like, yeah, it was tough. And I was like, why are these guys on my fucking team, man? And I could feel my head like start making like
the throbbing in your head.
Yeah, and I went to go wash my face off, and I saw it was like yellow all over. It was like fucking demolished. And they have to go like find an angle to like peek out to like your family, like, hey, like my friends are there.
You're wiping up your face.
Yeah, like I'm totally good, man. Like just hope my nose is fine and straightens out. You know,
be MIA for a while.
Yeah, dude, like just gonna go directly home afterwards and not have fun. And you go to work the next day and everyone's like, what the fuck happened to you, dude?
That was my next question, is like, what's it like the days after, like just being that bruised?
Yeah.
How long does that last? Like a month or something?
Nah, a couple weeks, a week or so. The weird part is when you get hit in the head and you're kind of foggy from like your brain gets a little scrambled. Like if you get like dropped in like sparring, like a knockout. Because not all knockouts are like unconscious. Sometimes you're just like,
your
can't
legs
lose
balance.
Give out.
Yeah,
You're fucked up, and so you have to go home. And those are the times where you're like, you'll go to like the mall or some store and you can't find your car. Like what the fuck? Like,
so concussion, basically.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, concussion. Yeah,
Luke would find that hilarious.
Yeah, Luke hasn't laughed once at any of this.
Surprised he hasn't laughed once.
Yeah, he's looking at me like I'm a maniac.
If I talk about my concussion playing music, he'll laugh. He's fucking crying right now. I mean, but if we talk about anybody else, he's like,
just staring at me like he's like a fucking serial killer right now. Dude, yeah, you're a terrifying guy.
I left my tools at home.
You should have seen his mustache.
It's the guy that did 9 fights professionally, and he's telling you that you're terrifying.
I wish that you didn't. I'm glad you don't have a mustache.
He did.
I'm
He had a
also glad
mustache
I
for
don't
so
have a
long.
mustache.
It was so long, dude. It was such a long mustache.
You look like a 12-year-old dad.
Wow.
Like,
Roast time. Let's get it.
Dude, I'm carded for video games still, bro.
Are you 13?
Yeah, right.
wait, they called
Not
you?
even the MA titles. He's trying to buy Zelda.
Is your mom
They're
in
like,
the
I
store,
don't know,
little boy?
dude.
This is rated T for
Do
teen. Are
they,
you
do
sure?
they card for video games?
Oh, yeah,
man.
for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like if you go to a place to rent it, like Family Video or
no,
something.
if
like
you go to GameStop and you buy a rated M game, Patrick.
I
the
have
hell is
never
a
been
rated-
carded for a video
Dude,
game.
what's
Never
a
once.
Because
rated,
you look like an adult.
I'm a man.
I look like
What?
a child.
what is a rated M? Like what?
18
Oh,
plus.
18 and up.
Swearing and
Blood.
gore.
Death,
Nudity.
gruesome violence, and fucking
Oh, shit.
Lots of death.
Yeah.
alcohol,
Cutting
drugs.
people in half.
Dude, I immediately was like, oh, is it like porn games?
Like Grand Theft
There is some.
Like
You know
Grand
there
Theft
is some?
Auto. Grand
No.
Theft Auto is rated M. Or if you want to talk about a rated X,
Adult?
like Leisure Suit Larry from the 90s is like...
The guy game.
They have AO games.
Wait,
That's
so there's
adults only.
actual games that are like porno games?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's adult only.
Have you not beat off the porn in the last like 10 years, my dude? Because
I mean,
if you just go there, there'll be like an ad you're trying to beat off, but you're looking at the ad. Oh, I got ADD, so I'm looking at the ads while I'm beating off.
I
and I'm
just
like,
always thought that was just like some like a video that I didn't want to see.
No, it says this game. Try not to come in under 5
will make your dick
minutes.
huge.
There's-
Yeah, I didn't know that was a video game. I thought that was just like some fucking like
No, they-
another video you could watch. I was like, oh, like some digital porn or something. I didn't know it was a game.
Well, there
so you can
were...
like jerk off while you're like trying to play a game.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult, but I've got it done.
That
That's
rules.
so weird. I guess
You
that's
play them, don't you?
Of course I do. What do you
I
mean?
can tell, dude.
So are you saying that's a good point because it makes me think like did these developers really sit in a studio to make these adult only games so that way they can develop a game where you can play a game and have your penis in the other hand and still be able to play.
Leisure Suit Larry is comical for that fucking reason.
He's like a ugly little dude who's
Yeah.
just trying to get laid by these weirdly
It's fucking weird.
proportioned
All I
women.
knew is my uncle used to have one.
Is this your same uncle that told you?
Different uncle.
Okay.
video
okay,
game
okay.
or he had a leisure suit.
Video game.
Okay.
It was. I think it was for the Mac too.
What was a game that started like in the early 80s or
some
whatever? and it
cowboy
was-
game.
Well, no, that was a fucked up game where you got to rape. You were a cowboy,
fuck?
a naked cowboy, and you would. It was 2D
Way to
pixelated.
segue it off
and you
a
would
cliff. Pat.
rape,
That's part of
you
it.
would rape Native American ladies, and that was the fun game that
That's
they put out.
real?
It was
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah, that was like one of the first adults only games and shit.
It looked
like
it looked like shit.
It's
It
fucked
Oh
up.
my
What was
god.
it? What was it like on like for Nintendo or?
I
was
don't.
like
I
a-
can't look it up.
It was
well,
probably
I can't
like
look it up. The internet's
early
broken.
nine- for
90s.
Nintendo.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like early 90s. It was like
That was like
pixelated
the 80s or
Atari
something.
kind of shit.
I had no
Yeah, probably
idea
even
that
early.
existed.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah,
like
so
a
weird.
computer only game.
And it evolved from that because people are gross into like Leisure Suit Larry, where you're
But
like,
how do
or
you
Dead
evolve
Alive.
to? I mean, that's the worst fucking like a rape and genocide
Yeah,
all
it's
in one. That's
tragic.
It was a
horrible.
product of its time kind of situation, and it's just fucked up that that thing was even accepted.
They just
in
went
the
as far
first
as they
place.
possibly could
Yeah,
to
it
try
was
to make
just
it.
like
Like a
the rated
fucking-
R kind of fucked
Dude,
up
the
shit.
the American genocide on the Indians was so vicious. The Nazis thought it was cruel. That's dead
Fuck.
serious. Like the Nazis thought that was like too much.
which Nazis? I feel like not all the
white
Nazis thought
The
it was
ones
soft.
making skid lamps or the ones
Are
that
you-
were turning
are
them
you-
inside
are
out or
you-
sewing midgets together?
Are you defending the Nazis right now? You like
I'm
no? There
not.
were some good ones that didn't.
No,
That's
What the
hilarious.
fuck?
no. I'm saying
I mean,
what I'm
some of them
saying.
were built rockets, but you know.
Not at all am I defending Nazis. What I'm trying to say is like I think most of them didn't think that it was that bad. Probably. I mean I don't know. Considering what they did, I can't imagine that they were like those Americans and those Native Americans. Man, that was fucked.
Man, that was some fucked up shit.
I
am
mean,
I
they
right?
did-
as they're skinning Jewish people to make lamps. Like I don't know
What
that
the
was
fuck?
the.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Trail of Tears, but it wasn't.
I am.
There was
What's the Trail of
a few
Tears?
months ago.
Andrew
Donald
Jackson?
Trump made a Trail of Tears jab, a joke towards a Native
course he did. He's a
American.
fucking
I don't know if
moron.
it was a woman or man who decided to throw their hat in for the presidential trail. Said Native American so and so candidates. I'll see you on the trail in all caps and everything. Yeah,
Wow,
it was
fool.
rough.
dude, there's
Oh
no
my
way,
God.
dude. If
And that
you,
dude's the president.
this Earth might be flat. This might be a simulation because there's no way. That's our leader. That's the
It's
fucking,
crazy. It blows
That's the
my
mouthpiece
mind.
of America making jokes about a genocide. That that's insane.
Do you think
this can't be real. This
Isn't
cannot
that
be
kind
You
real.
know
of
what blows
like-
my mind is that I feel like he'll win again.
Well, dumb people vote.
I feel like
vote.
it's gonna happen.
They
and
vote
it
for
scares
the king
shit
asshole.
Out of me.
Or
Sorry, political listeners.
Or it'll get worse, or somehow, there'll be just no president.
It's gonna be weird
Well,
to have.
that might
Well,
be
it's gonna be
better.
weird. Like, let's say there is someone else. It's gonna be weird to have a president where you don't hear daily tweets of him insulting people or
Weird
some
or
fucked
relieving.
up shit.
Like
You know
how
what I'm talking
nice,
about?
yeah, how nice would it be to have a president that just did his
Didn't
job
stir up,
Yeah.
didn't
and
stir
didn't
up
play on
drama.
his cell phone all day like a high school kid.
Confefe, you know.
Like he's in fucking a meeting with like a leaders. He's just sitting on Twitter, just like, oh bullshit, man.
You know what they just said about me?
Steph Curry's a dick. Like, oh my god.
I
dude.
heard he drinks like 8 Cokes or Diet Cokes.
Oh yeah,
A day on
believe
top
it.
of eating like Little Debbie sugars.
he eats
Yeah,
McDonald's,
sounds
watching
He
like
eats fast
9
food
hours
all
of
the
CNN.
time.
That sounds dope, dude.
White House dinners, bro.
That sounds dope, dude.
Could you imagine Trump just baking down with some Coke and little Debbie's?
He has to.
watching
It's gotta
CNN
be
get
washed down.
mad?
Absolutely. He fits that stereotype
Dude,
of the
yeah,
guy
but-
who overeats in junk food.
Do y'all have office jobs at all?
I do.
Not
I just
anymore.
started. I work in the mornings when I'm timing horses. I have an office job, and I won't even notice it, and I'll sit there and eat an entire like family sized bag of chips, a whole pack of gum, like 2 energy. I don't even notice it. I'm just doing things.
Yeah, you
know,
just kind of
but-
go
And
autopilot.
then so all of a sudden I'm like, dude, that is gross. What I've just done to myself.
I eat pistachios kind of a lot. I have these spicy pistachios.
But what
I
I'm saying
can't
is
stop
like
eating.
the idea of Donald Trump drinking a ton of Coke and eating Debbie cakes, like, yeah, he's probably got to sit in his office and be punished. But it's not like the
Let's
other
go to meetings. Like, give me a little.
Yeah,
Debbie.
it's not like the other politicians are awesome.
Oh no,
the best
no.
little Debbie.
Could you imagine if Paul Ryan walked in right now to tell you a funny story? Dude, no way. You'd be like, oh, fuck, get this guy out of here. Seems boring as hell, dude. Like, there's no, like, I would just need infinite caffeine and Debbie cakes to find any of that entertaining or, like, tolerable. That might be the only human thing about Donald Trump.
Dude, that job would make me want to.
I mean, he's
He's not stressed
No,
out,
he's
though.
out-
Are you really thinking he's that stressed out? He's more stressed out about, like, Twitter than he is about human rights.
He's out playing golf,
probably,
though,
you
most of
know?
the time. If
Playing
you look-
golf.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know
he is,
enough
though.
about it. I don't think I said this has got to be a simulation.
It's
The-
something so
the longer-
fucking
the
freaky
longer-
and weirder every
The
day.
longer the Earth is going on, the longer I'm just like, dude, there's no way.
This
Like,
happened?
Yeah, dude, the president's tweeting Indian jokes about a presidential race, sitting in this teal room, fucking Arnold, like, you got bodies in the basement, a flat earth. My dude's got the porn
not
game
bodies.
expert. Man, this is
Yeah,
nuts,
I got
dude.
them all.
This is
Sorry.
awesome. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, life
That's
is
why I
fucking
don't-
weird. People are strange,
that's
and dumb
why-
people vote. So
That's why I don't do drugs, man, because I like just being like, having those times where you can just step back and just be like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
No, but
what?
the fun part about
That's
drugs
probably-
is you can still do that, but on drugs. That's way cooler that way. Whoa.
Except sometimes it makes you have a panic attack.
Yeah, but that,
Oh, yeah.
It
that's
gets a
fun
little
too,
too
'cause you
real
gotta-
for you.
yeah.
Hold up, we're on a rock whizzing through space eternally, and any other
Allegedly.
rock could smash into
Allegedly.
us and kill us instantly.
Calm down, little Joe Rogan. It's
Hey,
all right. We're all gonna get
allegedly.
there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. The ice wall's there to protect us.
Not
Need
to
I
mention-
show you this?
Not to mention Guy the sea turtle that we're all floating on the backs of and shit like that.
That stuff rules. I love all that shit.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I
What else
think
you got
that
wrote down there, man?
I just wrote down comedy, a bunch of different random things to rip off of. What I was curious about the comedy thing was, do you have a podcast? 'Cause it seems like that's the
No, I want to.
new, start
was
one up,
talking
man.
about that on the break.
Well, I don't know. I don't even have internet where I live, so I'd have to find a place to do it.
Where do you live? In the middle of like the ocean?
I live in Piner, Kentucky.
Where's that?
It's about 40 minutes outside of Cincinnati, out like off the interstate. You just get off the interstate and go on these back roads, and there's no internet out there.
Wait, so you
And
made
so-
like a serious drive tonight to come out and fucking hang out with us and
Yeah.
shit like that?
How'd
Thanks.
you
Thanks,
find-
man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super
but
cool.
but see, the thing is, like, that's like I love music, I love driving, I love life. So doing stuff like this is great to me. Like, I love coming out. Like, I drive around, listen to some music. Fuck, I feel good.
That's fucking
You know?
dope, dude.
So,
Sounds
like-
chill as hell.
Yeah, but and it's great. I go out there, I'll drive back there tonight. Fucking
Dude.
stars will be out, it'll be beautiful.
Even if you don't have the internet, you could just one of these things. You don't have to have the internet
Yeah,
to
you don't need
fucking
it.
buy one of these things. It doesn't have to be this one that's so expensive. You could buy a little 2-line recorder.
Yeah.
Plug your mic in and shit. These mics don't cost anything, and just
I have
talk.
mics. I have stuff from music stuff that I could probably just make do. I just don't know how to like put things on. I just don't really have like a lot of knowledge about it.
I could
Maybe after we're done, we'll figure this all out.
You can hit us up
We
whenever.
should, dude.
We'll
You
help
should get a
out.
podcast.
Yeah, because that would be
Absolutely.
fun. It would be fun to bring like people from the racetrack, other musicians, just a lot of these people that MMA guys.
We've got a network we were trying to set up right now of different
you'd be
podcasts. So
more
let's
than welcome
fucking
to part of it.
figure out a way to set you up with a podcast, man, because
For sure.
you need it.
Yeah.
You're doing all this cool shit right now. You got to get it out there. You're doing the
Yeah.
fucking comedy thing.
Support your local community, man.
I'm
Seriously,
trying, dude.
That's
like
what the Bastard Sermon's all
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
the world needs more podcasts. Like seriously, podcasts are fucking great, man. They are helping the world getting connected and stuff.
Yeah.
I never would have met half the people I would have met if it wasn't for this podcast.
It's true.
It's
I
fucking
loved it.
wild to me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild.
It's a piece of serenity I look forward to every single week because it's just a drone. Go home, go to work. Go home, go to work. And then on my off days, it's like I got to piece together something to do because I didn't plan anything because I was working. So I get to look forward to doing this at once a week. I get to see the boys and talk.
2 hours of real ass conversation
I
about
think
whatever.
anybody
It's
could use
fucking
that.
Great, yeah.
Anybody could use a
anyone can
break.
listen to. And then if something ever happens to you, your family has something to look back on one day. Cody told me that once, and it fucking blew my mind. And like why I do these kind of things.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
this is something. Could be a bit of a legacy of like my
Now
stories.
I died. I just look back on Flesh Mother like, oh, he was a crazy person. Cool. And listen to this podcast like he thought the Earth was flat. This guy's fucking nuts.
Well, the cool thing about it is you get to kind of lay out how you feel and believe and how you can be funny with other people and shit like that. Or even if you're doing it by
I would
yourself.
like to just highlight some of these people. Like, there's so many cool people around the earth that have these different like experiences that the average person like. It's something I've talked to you about a few times tonight. We're talking. It's just like these people. There's like all these different cultures of people that don't get like the fame. Like they're like the Juggalo people are just now like I feel like people are just now starting to like think they're cool, and that's been weird forever. You know what I mean? That's
it's
always
a different
been, like,
time.
I've got
forgot
Juggalo friends in Batavia and Amelia, and this cocksucker's been giving me shit for years.
I mean,
because you go out and do whippets with them, you psychopath. Because your story every time you talk about
Garbage.
these fucking garbage people are like, yeah, go out and hang out with my Juggalo friends. They bought a case of whippets. Now, I don't do whippets, but I do a case of whippets with some Juggalos. I mean, they're Juggalos after all, basically hanging out with the president.
What the fuck?
It's a weird.
Would you break your straight edgeness to do whippets
No.
with Juggalos? Yeah, me neither.
I went,
and I do drugs, but Luke's like, I don't do whippets, but I'm with a Juggalo right now. I'll do whippets. That's why I break your balls about it, Luke.
I saw ICP a couple weeks ago, and it was the coolest show I've ever seen.
What was it like?
Just like a crowd that is 100% on board with that band.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
It's all a huge
And,
fammy at that
Dude,
point.
they sprayed Faygo the entire show
Sticky.
all over. Oh, it was great. People waving flags. It was just wild. And it was just fucking great.
Did you get
Were they
soaked?
good? Were they good live though?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Did you get soaked?
No, I stayed in the back, man. I was too afraid. I wish, in hindsight, I would have. But at the time, I'd never been. I was a little nervous, Like, I didn't want to, like, I don't know. I just didn't do it.
They talk about because they've gone to the gathering before, my friends.
I wanna go.
They talk about
It's
going
amazing.
back and going to other shows, and they ask me if I want to go, but
Go.
only
Go.
if they buy me a ticket.
Go.
How, is
Buy
it
a
expensive?
ticket. It's
Yes.
expensive. It's worth it. I'm telling you. You will have. It's.
So you've
the
gone?
thing- no, but
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying from what I saw the other day, and from like my knowledge of like the people that my friends that are into it. The thing is that they look at that like the Juggalos like, oh, they're white trash, they're garbage, which is like kind of true, but they're also having a great time, and like you can't take that for granted. You can't take that and like some things are just fun.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about like I don't know, like fucking fat girls and these super
Chopping 'em
hard-
up.
killing people and doing these crazy. They're just talking shit. It means nothing. It's a fun ass party. Who gives a shit? And that's the same thing. Like when I talk about conspiracies and all that shit. Like, who gives a fuck, man? Sometimes it's just fun.
You want to hear one of their stories from the gathering then?
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure? They said that they had
Absolutely
witnessed
not.
a line of people by this wooden planked fence, right? And at the very front of the line is a man holding a sign saying $5 fistings with who we can only assume is his significant other, bent over the fence, pants down, getting fisted by this line of guys for $5.
Dude,
That happens.
it's pretty cool.
I don't know.
I want to go. I want to go to the gathering.
I totally support the Juggalos in person, but whenever they try to show me one of the hit new song, you know, like they just came out with this, or Blaze Dead Homie just put this out, and they'll try to get me to listen to it. It's never my thing.
I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. Well, I mean, it's like kind of like Guar. Like I love the image of Guar, and I'd love to fucking go to a show, but I do not care for their music.
Well, Guar also, their lead singer died, and I feel like that's Dave Brockie was Guar, man. Like,
that band kind of died with him. They got some woman to replace him, and she was like spraying blood from her boobs. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure they replaced her too.
Yeah, there's some other woman, or I think it's another woman.
Regardless, that's cool. They got a woman and just like
change of pace,
because it's clearly going to be a different person. Like, why not go full on? Like, that's rules. I back that. I didn't know that, but I love that.
Instead of like losing that guy and then having someone come in to try to look at or sound like him, they went in the complete opposite way and owned it.
Female vocalists in metal bands are fucking awesome. I played with this band called I Wrestled a Bear once. You ever heard of them?
I heard of them.
Way back in the day, they were popular. It was like black metal, but I remember I saw them once, and it was one of the craziest performances I've ever seen backstage. They're like throwing their guitars 20 feet in the air, doing a flip with the guitar, and then the vocalist is like sliding around on her knees, just screaming at the top of her lungs, and it's like she's about to vomit. It is nuts, and they're just so on point, but they just have so much energy. I feel like they have so much more energy. Like, there's In This Moment that has a lot of energy. I mean, Guar, for example, like changing the pace like that with metal, I think that's awesome. You don't get a lot of that.
No.
You don't get a lot of that anymore. And like, there's this one metal band with a 60-year-old grandma as a vocalist. I forgot what the fuck they were called, but they actually were in town with the Mad Frog.
YouTube video.
Geriatric fucks.
They got famous off YouTube, and it's just some old lady screaming in a microphone, basically, but with like heavy-ass metal playing in the background, and they'll do tours and shit with this lady. They went to the Mad Frog recently. I bet they'll come to town. Just look up old grandma metal band. You'll find it, I'm sure.
If only we had internet.
If only you had internet. But you can look it up at home, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They'll probably come to town.
Oh, yeah. It's weird to see places like the Mad Frog that like... There's a lot of these clubs, like Cincinnati, becoming like more like gentrified. The clubs I used to go to when I was a kid that scared the hell out of me are just like
flourishing.
Nice. Like, I mean, you know, I hope the people that suffered to make that place nice got paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that everything was right with, you know, that
probably not.
Doubtful. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I'd like to think so, but probs nah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Usually how those places improve is just seriously change of ownership. I mean, they might have the rights to the name of the venue or whatever to keep it, but for like what I know, like the Mad Hatter, for example, was bought out by some people I know, turned it into Bangarangs.
Well, it's a parking lot now.
Now it's a parking... No, and that's even that. It's just a grassland. They have radio down behind that, and there was like I said, the Venue 42 from earlier, and then that fight happened and got shut down. Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy that
I still drive by there because I go to the library. I love the public library.
Public library?
Yeah, I go to the public library all the time.
The downtown?
To play?
Huh?
To play music?
No, he doesn't have internet at his house. He's got to go somewhere.
I go there and get DVDs and music and people watch. There's a lot of interesting people at the public library.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
Sleeping there on the fucking...
You can do anything, too. The one downtown in Cincinnati, you can make like stickers, buttons, banners, anything.
That's good information for us.
What I love about the downtown Cincinnati public library is that once a year they have this event where you pay like $10 for this yellow bag and you just fill it with all the books and DVDs you can find.
Yeah, I mean, libraries are great, and they're actually
fantastic.
They're incredible. They're super helpful for like they have a lot of like services for people. They help you can get your job. Like, if you don't have the internet, you need to file a job application. You can do it there.
Thank God for the public library.
Dude, all hail the library, man.
Seriously.
Like, they do, like, it's a cool, they let homeless people come inside in the winter. And
there was a movie based on the true events that apparently happened in the downtown Cincinnati public library. Where
really?
The homeless people were just, they came in and started to live there because of the cold, and the guy who was working there just let them in and stay, but people were against it. The cops were trying to force them out, but the guy was like with these homeless people to allow them to stay there for so long. It was pretty touching. Yeah, there's a whole film made about it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably not gonna watch it.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong if it happened in the downtown Cincinnati Public Library, but I do know that they filmed
Are you thinking
it
about
there.
Airborne, the skateboard movie or skating?
Not
movie?
even a
I'm just
little
kidding.
bit.
I'm just kidding.
Dude, that
I'm just
movie.
kidding. Yeah, what is up with that movie? That's a weird one, for sure.
I'm curious, segueing back to music, though. What's kind of the wildest shit that you saw when these clubs were fucking wild back in the day? Like, what was the
you would
shit that just
see-
made you terrified?
I saw a dude get knocked out. He got knocked out outside of Sudsy Malone's, and I saw this guy motion to his buddy. He said, "Hey, you good?" He had a little cup. He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And I didn't realize he was pissing in the cup, and they knocked this dude out and then threw piss all over his body
God,
while he was laying
damn.
out in the middle of Short Vine.
Savage.
And then they realized that he was like hurt, and they were trying to get him in a cab to get him away. And then the cab drivers would pull over and see this half-conscious drunk dude covered in piss, and they're like, "Fuck you," and just keep driving.
Damn.
I saw a gun get pulled at a Murder Junkies show.
What
Like
happened?
Gigi Allen
Why?
and the Murder Junkies?
Yeah, but Gigi
With
Allen was
Meryl.
dead by then.
Yeah, it was probably Meryl Allen
different
and
different
Dino.
guys singing. They always had different singers. And yeah, they were playing at Sudsy Malone's, and a fight broke out, and this kid pulled a gun and was like pointing at everybody, and then he threw it. He ran away, and people were like, "Pussy!" Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, that was like a fucking. You would see shit like that all the time. Short Vine used to be really crazy.
Oh yeah.
Sudsy Malone sounds like a really badass like mafia.
It was a half
sure.
it was a half laundromat, half venue across the street from Bogart's, which you could just walk in the back door when you were underage. So I would go there. I saw like the Youth Brigade, Swingin' Utters, the Murder Junkies, Anti-Scene, all these like shitty, grimy punk bands would play there. They always said Nirvana played there, but I don't think that's true.
I've been to
Not
some,
next to Bogarts.
Well, I mean, this was way back.
before that?
It was around for a long time, but they would have tons of bands. They had a show there every single night.
That's crazy.
Some kind of band would play there.
That's crazy that they go out of business when they do as well as they do.
Well, I mean, it was a dive bar back then. Everything on Short Vine was dive bars.
Yeah.
Like that place is called the Dive Bar now. It used to be called some other shit. It was like disgusting. Yeah, it was that Kroger was insane, and they had all these little weird shops around it, like sex stores down the street. It was like Short Vine back then was way crazy. I would see a bunch of fucked up shit happen.
now it's like a fucking like a little gentrified college town. Bunch of
But they still got
Now it's safe to walk.
Hot Rod Charlie's is still there, holding it down.
what's Hot Rod
That
Charlie's?
tattoo shop. Charlie. They always have some sketchy characters at Hot Rod Charlie.
Like tattooing and hanging around the joint and shit like that.
It's just like a tattoo shop. It's cool. Charlie's cool, I guess.
But it still stood the test
I'm not
of
gonna
time.
get on the public record and be like, "Oh, it's fucking bull." I don't know, man. It's cool.
right
I don't
on.
ride motorcycles, but some do.
I've been to a lot of sketchy shows like what you're talking about, but they're not at venues at any place. It's just some fucking house in Northside that some dude has decided this month we're not going to pay the rent. We're just going to have shows every day of the week and fucking ruin this fucking place. Or they have
Flesh
these,
Mother played those before.
Yeah,
We
they
played
have
some
some-
basements that were out of control. And
the Nest.
Those
or
are so
whatever.
fun, though.
yeah, it's
Those
the
are like
best.
some of the best shows to play as basement shows.
We played a Little Rock one time, and it was just insane. In this like living room of someone's house that you couldn't even get in. Just capacity, it was insane. Like things like stuff like that is amazing.
You ever had like a bad show where like things have just what's the word? Can you think of one right now? Like what was possibly one of the worst performances?
I mean,
I think those are such fun stories in
we've
hindsight.
been on tour and got to places where no one's there.
Oh, I mean that happens anytime you go on tour though.
Yeah, we had one time we were at a place in San Marcos, Texas, and it was a pizza place, and no one was there really, and people kind of started milling around to get there, and they came and turned the light off, and I walked inside. I was like, "What do you mean? Like, why'd you do that?" And like, "Oh, we're closed. The pizza oven broke."
The show's over.
Yeah, the pizza oven broke, so we can't make any money. So there's no show tonight. So you can't just sell beer. Like, well, the pizza oven's broke. And it was
Dude,
like
it's the pizza oven.
they're like, you have some to-go beers. But at the time, I was mad. I was like, fuck you, dude. Like, we didn't break your pizza oven. Why are we? Now we lose, and it was just.
So you didn't even get paid that night, did
No,
you?
it was just like it's 7:30 in the evening. Just like goodbye, get the fuck out. Like,
What about shows where
Damn.
shit just gets too wild? You gotta do you ever have to get the fuck out of Dodge with some shit getting crazy before?
I've thought that at the Comet before, but
At the Comet? Really?
like tables get broke, and I'm like, oh fuck.
tables.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when you're just playing a show there. And
Yeah, and people just get nuts and break. I mean, I saw a guy in St. Louis power bomb a guy, like just pick him up and slam him on the floor super hard. Like, you see shit like that, you know.
When there was
Sometimes we played the Rock and Roll Carnival and climbed on top of the big stage. I thought we were gonna get in trouble for that, but
I've had
they didn't seem to mind.
situations where bottles were thrown at us, and we had to get the fuck out of there because people were trying to fight. It was such a ridiculous time.
It's usually
it's crazy how
usually
competitive
when
it
stuff
is.
like that happens, just like my own friends.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was just about to get into. You know the bar, the Chameleon down there on
Yeah.
Hamilton Avenue? That used to be the Blue Rock Tavern. And when
Yeah.
we were kids, we'd sneak in there because the owner didn't give a fuck. You get in there, you find somebody that kind of looks like they're 21.
Yeah, saw off with their heads there one time. It was awesome.
Go up there and get 3 pitchers of beer. We're 14 years old. It was probably like 15, 16 years old up there just drinking pitchers of beer. And it would just be like bikers up there chilling. And then they'd have like a death metal set up there or some fucking weird extreme metal bands playing that none of these dudes are getting into. I'm just looking around dudes with mutton chops and fucking.
Yo, shout outs though. Speaking of the Blue Rock Tavern, my boy Scav B, Brandon Cornell, he got his ass thrown out there. They body slammed him out front for stealing beers out the cooler.
Got
Get
that
the
ass
fuck out
clapped.
of here, really?
If he's ever listens to this, I'll special shout out to him for getting
Shout
his
out.
ass whipped by the bouncer there
Damn,
and deserving it.
boy.
He threw him on the ground. He sat out front, and knocked the wind out of him.
God damn.
That would fucking hurt though too.
well,
Oh, that's what you get.
stealing.
That's why it's funny to do shit like that because you run the risk of maybe getting whipped. Rules.
Well, we were
That's part of it, man.
those dick little kids looking around like there's death metal going on. Nobody's doing anything. They're not even a head of bobbing. And me and Sean are looking at each other like, fuck it. You want to be a 2-man mosh pit? We're banging into fucking random crowd members and knocking tables over and destroying. I mean, we were 15 years old drinking beers or whatever, being assholes.
Everyone hating you.
We shouldn't have been there.
Crowd
I mean,
killing.
there
Yeah.
should have been somebody
Crowd
there to
killing.
prevent 15-year-olds from being in the Blue Rock Tavern, but there just wasn't. So we were just out there doing wild shit like that, like in there destroying shit.
Now I see kids do that at shows now. I was like, cool, man. Go nuts, dude. Like, have fun.
Yeah,
That rules, dude.
That's what the bands were into. The dudes around us were not. We had to get out,
Yeah.
sneak out the back door or some shit. But yeah, it seems like the wildest shows now are at some fucking house. Like you don't really like. I saw Slayer.
Not really at the
That was a-
venue. Yeah.
You say that, but the other day, Suffocate Faster and Battleground played at the Yacht Club. That looked pretty nuts. There's still some crazy shit goes down. It's a little bit more toned down. I think a lot of it too is different now with the internet. You don't have to go to a show. You can just get online.
Pull your phone out.
We can go online, get them. It used to be when I first started going to shows, you couldn't get into it. You couldn't get into a band unless you went to the show and bought their music or merch or any of that stuff. Now you can do it all online.
Right.
I couldn't even listen to them. You couldn't even. It's like you just go on like YouTube. Like if they would see a flyer, it's like punk shows. Like if I wanted to hear punk music, I had to go to that show.
Buy
You know,
that fucking
yeah.
little shitty cassette.
You just had to go buy the CD.
It's becoming like so tough now where basically now bands are starting to do Patreon. If you're familiar with Patreon, where it would be
Yeah.
like a weekly or a monthly service where people are paying to get the actual music rather than actually being able to produce it, getting it online and
Which
whatnot.
to me seems
it's
like
just
such a
crazy.
cop-out,
It
like-
sucks. It sucks that artists have to go to those lengths.
I don't want to. I hope I never have to do that.
I hope not either. I hope no one has to do it.
I've been pretty lucky to get on to play in like Flesh Mother where people, like us and like my solo stuff where it's like finding the right avenue to go to because a lot of that's just like people don't know where to go. You know what I mean? Like there's no like they don't have like a direct like. I was like if you wanted to be a comedian but never met a comedian, where would you go to do your shit? So
Exactly.
So people learn guitar but they don't know where to go to find the right like audience. And I've been very fortunate to like meet people that have like, don't do that, do this, go play this show, do it, book your tours yourself, But I think a lot of people just don't know. They don't have a clue.
How can our listeners get a hold of Flesh Mother's music or your personal music if they want to buy it or even check it out or anything like that?
It's all on iTunes and Spotify. Fleshmo has Bandcamp. I have one album's on Let's Pretend Records. It's on their Bandcamp site. Yeah, I don't know, just the usual ways you do. If you want to buy an album, you can just hit me up on Instagram. I'll mail you some shit.
Can I ask you, what does Flesh Mother mean? Like, where'd you get that
Simpsons
name?
reference.
Simpsons reference?
Yeah, dude.
What do you mean?
There's a scene when Homer's living in the tree house. Marge kicks him out, and he makes like a fake Marge out of a plant. And Lisa comes to visit him. She's like eating some pudding. And he's like, "Oh, your Flesh Mother used to make me pudding." And I watched that. We were like, me and a buddy were watching that, just sort of laughing our ass off, like, Flesh Mother, dude.
So are you one of the original members?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it was like me and like one other dude at this point.
I knew Tyler Bollinger for a while. He was
Yeah.
like your guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Super nice guy. I'd love to have him on the show sometime.
He'll do it.
I'm sure. And Helter Skelter is like the. Does he do that still?
He does. He's doing a solo thing now called Felix Moon. It's like industrial, like punk stuff. It's really cool.
It's like plugs and gauges and handmade stuff.
He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of the stickers. All the merch for Flesh Mother is like Tyler does all that.
Super talented guy.
Very talented,
Yeah.
dude. Nut. Crazy person. He's been kicked out of the yacht club a bunch of times.
What does he do to get kicked out of there?
I think he ripped the sound door off one time.
Metal.
You know,
Metal.
stupid. Get drunk. He's toned it down a little now because he got in trouble a bunch. But he's a wild dude, man. Wild card.
Super nice guy to me. Every time I've ever talked to him, super nice guy. So that's how I found out about Flesh Mother. I never had a chance to check out the music until I actually heard you were coming on here, and it was super fun. I love that. So like my girlfriend's really into that specific genre of music, and I just got all this stuff introduced to me, and it's so much fun. I can't stop. I actually have a great time going to those shows rather than my own genre of what I played.
What do you play?
I played like gent metalcore kind of stuff that probably you guys aren't that much interested in, but it's what I loved playing, and it was so much fun. I did vocals for like 8 years, 7-8 years.
What band?
Allies Aside.
I've never heard that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That was rude of me. I was like, what band is it?
It's been like, I would say it's been about 4 years since we played.
That's what we do.
To give you an idea of how long
brings
ago
it
that
up.
was.
What band was it again, Pat?
Allies Aside. Yeah. check it out. We've been broken up for 4 years, but check it out. You know, maybe new music at some point. Probably not.
I saw on a friend's Instagram story that you were playing with our boys from Nithing. We had those dudes on. They're fucking
Good
dudes.
We played with them a while back. They're nice guys.
Well, did you
awesome,
wait? Was that a
dude.
recent show? Because I saw it on a recent Instagram story, like from a couple of days ago or some shit.
Oh, we played a fest a couple days ago. I forgot about that. There's like a million bands played it. Yeah, Landslide Fest. It's like a local label that's putting out a bunch of the punk bands. It's super cool, man. I like people who do that stuff.
Local label. Who's the local label?
It's called Landslide Records.
Landslide Records.
Something like that. But a couple of dudes are doing it. They're super nice people, and they did like their inaugural like festival for it and asked us to play. I was like, dude, absolutely.
That sounds super cool.
Like,
That's badass.
I love that shit. I like anything where somebody's like trying their goddamn best, you know.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Hook us up with them. Let's talk to him. Sometime. I think
I'll
that'd be
send
cool.
everybody your way, dude.
I think that'd be super cool. It's awesome that there's a local metal record label. That's so cool. That is something I never thought would ever happen in Cincinnati, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know. It's like a lot of punk stuff too. You know, it's not like big scale stuff, but it's starting. You know, they just
At least they're
started.
doing something.
That's
That's
so
fucking
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, you know,
that's
it's
a lot of
amazing.
work running a record label. Like, especially starting one out. Like, there's not a lot of profit in that at all. So that's all passion. Like, we have Will Feiner coming on. I don't know if you know him at all, but
Will's
super
nice.
fucking cool dude. But that dude busts his ass all the
He works
time.
his ass off. You see his
Seriously.
flyers everywhere.
It's
and
all gonna
it
be
pays
worth it.
off. So all good vibes to this new record label. That's super.
And the
fucking
last time
cool.
Will came on the show, he like we don't plan it so good. We're just doing a podcast.
We're
Like,
just
I don't-
talking,
I don't know. We're
hanging
gonna
out.
put it out, make sure that we do all the proper plugs and shit. But he was like, a week before he wanted to hype up his thing, which no guest ever does, which is fine.
Yeah.
But he was like, fucking try to get the bastard sermon's gonna get me to throw up on this episode, and if they do, then I'll donate $50 to charity. He's hyping shit up. He's like good at shit like that, and I like that.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna tell everybody that's listening that I'm gonna be June the 3rd at the Listing Loon playing a solo show with some friends. I've yet to.
That's this Monday coming up. So if we can promote that because our episode comes out this Sunday. So
comes out this Sunday.
Yeah.
There's
So
a-
those who are looking for a good fucking show,
If you're
go
listening
check
to
that
this,
shit out.
You want to listen to some fucking bunch of people play. The whole idea of the show is a bunch of people playing solo sets, acoustic, that don't typically do that, even though I do. And it should be cool, man. It should be a cool show.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Go on
fucking
out.
time.
Share some.
Do you have more calendar dates, like stuff for Flesh Mother, stuff for your solo gig, stuff for your comedy stuff?
I got a million things, but I don't have it. You got follow me on Instagram. I'll tell you everything.
Instagram. Hell yeah.
Where can we reach you?
John Hayes, JOHNHAYS. If you hit me up on Instagram, that's where I keep everything right there, man.
That's fucking awesome.
I play
Instagram's
on
where
it.
it's at, though.
Plus,
Let's
I
be
always
real.
play on all the time. I take videos of shit. I put everything. I think it's the most fun toy.
It really is.
It's
It's so
super
fun.
cool, dude.
It's like the only social media that doesn't have like a lot of drama on it. I feel like it's so chill to be on.
It probably does, but you can just choose what you look at.
Exactly. You have the full control over it.
Yeah, dude.
Where else is there any? So you have no other social media we can follow you from?
I have Facebook, and that's
Facebook. If you feel like follow, like want people follow that, we
I
can.
mean, you could try to be my friend on Facebook, but
If he doesn't know you, he's gonna block you.
I'm not gonna block you. I just might
Not
take me
delete,
like
but block.
3 months to be like, oh shit, there's a person here that I actually kind of know.
That's
It's
understandable.
kind of the worst.
Well, sweet,
Yeah.
man. This was a fun episode. I had a good fucking time.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for
Seriously.
joining
It sucks
us,
we didn't get to
man.
watch that guy fuck that toaster up.
Is the internet up now?
And his neck and his whole spinal
dude, hell
cord
yeah.
in general. The internet's not up, but I gotta just fucking show
Let's
you.
just pull it up on the phone and we'll end it with
Just
that.
really
Let's
quickly.
Check it out.
Let me fucking hook the audio up here. I should have just thought about this for a second.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's all right.
Dude.
Uncomfortable
I want to
because I'm
fucking
trying
show
to.
you guys.
Damn, man, just
Luke loves calling shit out.
Luke, you fucking psycho. You just
Laughs at fucking murder.
bodies in the basement. That fucking laugh. Had a
fucking
mustache.
laugh.
12-year-old fucking dead.
the nightmare. I go to leave here, the door's locked. I'm like, what the fuck?
And Luke starts cackling.
Yeah, dude.
Turn back around. We've all got Luke's face on and shit like that. Smiling.
Yeah, dude, that's
Y'all have
fucking
all just
nightmare
grown,
fuel.
Just all grown like mustaches and shit.
You start growing a mustache.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know what's happening.
All right, here
I
we
did.
go.
Now the light does seem weird. Oh, you got-
Perfect.
what's he saying?
Is it even plugged into the thing?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck this shit! Oh my fucking god! Oh my god!
What a goddamn fucking
play that
idiot.
one more time for me, please.
Today we jumping onto this toaster. This is for jiggalos and jigglettes. Don't try this at home and I hope you like it. Whoop whoop.
This dude.
Fuck this shit! Oh my fucking god!
This dude totally got laid after this video, bro.
I'm gonna call my dude out right now because he's showing me this video, but in the top corner is a girl messaging him on Facebook.
Yeah, my girlfriend's hitting me up.
That's
This
awesome.
is
That's a
super
weird thing to
interesting.
brag about right now, but it's cool, man.
Like,
That's a weird thing. He's
I'm
like,
just trying to
oh,
explain
I
myself.
could have easily put that away, but I didn't to show you this video.
Hey,
And
just so you
also-
know, this dude fucks. All right,
Yeah,
this dude
just so you-
fucks.
just
all
so
right,
you-
yeah, Cody fucks.
Like, these guys
He's an
throw out,
alcoholic and he fucks.
Yeah, just so you know, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
Like,
just so you know.
man, like, yeah, thanks, dude.
He's not a virgin, just so you know.
Yeah,
bro.
dude, I get it, man. I get
It's
it.
it's clearly too much
Yeah, yeah.
trouble to
Cody gets his dick wet.
Yeah,
all
to
right?
you
close
couldn't-
and open a chat
Yeah,
bubble.
you couldn't just swipe that chat bubble down before you showed me that video, man. Got to brag a little
I
bit.
think it might have popped up while this video was going, and I'm
That's-
a little bit
He's
on the
lying.
spot now.
You can make it,
fellas.
you can make excuses all you want, but your girlfriend should know right now that you're. I hope that was your girlfriend that messaged you, and I hope she knows that you're bragging to all of us right now.
That he slays the pussy.
Yeah, you have a girlfriend, you're in love.
Is that what chat bubbles tell you typically?
he's
like
so
when you
in
see
love.
a good chat
When
bubble?
I see the chat bubble come up, it might as well be in the shape of a heart
Sometimes
because
Cody,
I just think that's like love.
before the episode, Cody tells me how much he's in love and what he wants to do and buy flowers and shit. Like he's so in love right
That's
now.
tight, man. I love that shit.
My
I'm
bro's so in love right
Dude,
now.
I'm super into like romance stuff. I love like true love. I watch like The Notebook and shit. I love that
Oh,
stuff.
then you'll love this. Watch.
What? How is that related?
Well, it's a very loving video.
and jigglettes. Don't try this at home I hope you like it. Whoop.
All about romance.
What's
Keep
he
watching.
jumping into?
He's gonna make sweet neck love to this microwave.
That was a microwave.
Oh wow!
That's
Dude
that's how he
bodies
feels about.
himself on a
Look
microwave.
at the bruise he already had when he jumped. Play it one more time.
It'll come.
Boy
back around.
is
Hold on.
fucked up.
Here we go.
Yeah, super teacher today I'll be jumping onto this microwave. This is for jiggalos and
Fucking
jigglettes.
giggles.
Don't try this at home I hope you like it. Whoop, whoop.
I've got another one after this.
Fuck this shit!
This rules.
It's great.
It's the best thing that I've ever seen.
Fly this guy out and put him on your podcast.
I would. Can we fucking message him?
I mean, I'll
Luke?
fucking Greyhound him
Yeah,
out.
sure,
I'm
why
not
not?
gonna
That's your-
fly him.
Fly him.
I'll send him a
Fly
message.
Now hold on. Here's my
For
favorite.
Gigolos and Jigglettes. So try this at home. I hope you like it.
Don't try us at home and.
Way to step it up in lethality.
Fuck this shit.
His catchphrase.
You got to get this guy out. You got to
I'd
get
love
him
to have him
out.
on, dude. I think that'd be great.
Dude, if I can be on the show with you, I'll pay for the plane ticket.
Really?
Really?
If you message this guy, figure out but I get to come on the show
Okay.
too.
That's
Fuck
fine.
yeah, we'll
I'll
do
send
that.
him a message
You
tonight.
have said this on the air, and it's a verbal contract.
I don't
and
give
you can't
a
go back
fuck,
now.
dude.
I'll set it up tonight.
I mean, I don't know where he lives. I don't know what language he's speaking in this video. He might be somewhere overseas. It's going to cost a little bit, but I don't give a fuck. This dude is so fascinating.
Wait,
He might be from
this is a
Kentucky
better
for
one.
all we know.
So this one says.
Yeah.
This one says butt buster on a barbed wire, mini cactus, light bulbs, WWE Mick Foley style in parentheses.
WWE Mick Foley style. Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
so here we go.
Light bulbs. This is for Gigolos
Oh,
and
no.
Jigglettes.
I love the
So
way
Okay.
he says it.
Just to set up here's what we were talking about before the internet crash. So the dude's on his little fucking square porch. He's got the railings up and shit. Maybe
Stoop.
What, 2 steps? It's got one fucking step and then the porch basically. And he's got these 2 little folding chairs set up, a little piece of fucking plywood in between it. And then the camera pans down. In this particular video, he's got like 3 cactuses, some light bulbs, and just a string of barbed wire set up. And he's about to do this fucking butt
Alright.
buster onto it.
And after this, I got to bounce.
That's cool.
Fuck this shit. Oh my god. Oh, fucking bitch.
Okay.
That's amazing.
So we're gonna message him. He's gonna
Message
come on
that guy
out.
and
You
get
are
him a-
more than welcome back on.
Yes, and I will I don't even have to have a mic. I'll just sit and talk. Actually, I would need a mic, so I need to ask him about
We'll
his
give you a
pro
mic.
wrestling stuff.
We'll do it.
Dude, this
We're gonna
yeah.
message him.
well, thanks, John, for joining us this week,
Dude,
man.
yes, I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah, dude, I'll
make it
take
happen.
you up on that offer in a heartbeat. If
I'll
we
send
can-
him a message
I'll get-
tonight.
We'll all send him messages.
Yeah, I'll send him a message
Yeah.
myself.
I mean, let me know the price. Not that I'm poor, but
give him some time.
Yeah, we give you enough
Minute.
time. We could save up for it. But dude,
whenever I don't give a fuck. It can't be that much.
I can't imagine it, especially like fucking Allegiant.
The expensive part would be getting that fucking dude to some place to a town with an airport.
Well, Lunkin, not that far.
You got to get him on a mega
I'm talking
bus
about
just
where
to
he's
get him
from.
to a
We'll have
town.
Luke pick him up.
I don't think they got too many airports in like fucking North Dakota or where that could be. I could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's it.
what's your Instagram again?
John Hayes, just JOHNHAYS. That's where I'll post any shows I'm doing or any lunatics I'm hanging out with currently. I'll take
Hell yeah.
videos of them, put it on there. Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. You were fucking awesome. We'd love to
I
have
hope
you back
so.
on again.
Another shout out to our sponsor, Neil to No One. Go ahead and buy his stuff. Go
Yeah.
ahead and follow John Hayes on Instagram at John Hayes.
When I fly out this guy, you gotta say I'm a sponsor too.
For sure, without question.
You could be the sponsor if you fly a dude out for at least several episodes. You could be the
He's
sponsor.
got to
and shit.
shout out John Hayes at Flesh Mother every time.
All right,
yeah,
guys.
dude.
That's it for the Bastard
yeah.
Sermon this week. Join us next week, y'all.
Peace.
Deuces.